true observations from the real game that they don't want you to know. Just the generic they
who doesn't want
are trying to keep you from it. You know who doesn't want you to know the true observations. Going into the game, Dak Prescott, 4 TD passes in each of the last 3 home games, ties him for the second longest single-season streak in NFL history with Drew Brees and Dan Marino, and he only gets 3 last night, right?
Only.
So his streak has stopped, and that leads us into, is Dak an overrated quarterback? 888-787-1310. Okay, we got to talk about that. Because they did spend a little bit of time talking about his here we go. Al Michaels talked about it a little bit, and I think they had Dak's mic cranked up extra.
Yes.
So we heard it each time.
So great.
So I'll never be able to convince you, Giorgio, that it's okay. No. It's wearing on us a little bit.
It is the catchphrase of 2023. Yeah. Here we go.
I'm with you, Gordo. I think it's tarnishing an otherwise great season for Dak because it's single
it's so annoying
play. It's so annoying.
And them cranking up the mic, and we just hear it. It just grates on the ears. And
I'm so over it.
It's like I get, Giorgio, why people are initially interested in it, right? It was an interesting note when he first started it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no way that something can ever wear on anyone.
Oh,
heck! How many times have I started doing something that people found was, hey, that's slightly entertaining, and then they get sick of it after I did it for the millionth time. Right?
I understand that, and I understand your stance on
my
this.
information.
But there's, like anything else, there's nuance to it as well. It's not the same time. It's not the same way every time.
Your argument is that there's such intricate nuance to the way that he says it.
There is.
In his vocalizations of it. That it's something we need to study.
Yeah, you need to read the article in USA Today. There is, in different ways that he says it. Doesn't always say yeah, and sometimes with inflection, and sometimes the timing of it, it means different things.
This is why I'm over it. We've now heard it. Yeah! Approximately 840 times this season.
Yeah.
840 times he has said.
But USA Today says each one of them is different.
Yeah, here we go. And it's wearing on me.
But they're not all
now.
the same.
And I don't have a problem with that being his call and whatever. Just turn the mic down.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to hear it because it's annoying.
Keep turning it up, man. I want to hear it more and more.
Yeah, because you like to study the intricacies of it and whether or not it was really him that's saying it this time.
No, I think it's very cartoon-like. That's not why I like it. I'm just telling you there is more to it than just, that's so dumb. He just says, yeah, here we go. Talking to you, Gordon, there's a little bit of intricacy to it.
It is now, and I appeal to you guys who are the football guys on this. But where are the fake here we goes?
I think there is.
Like he says, yeah, here we go, and then nothing happens
He doesn't
for forever.
always say yeah. Sometimes it's here we go.
Mm-hmm.
There is a different, and you don't know. It means something different each week.
Yeah.
But there is something different to it. There's a dummy, here we go.
And the dummy, here we go. Like, do they ever run the play without him saying anything?
I've heard him go on first sound a couple of times this year.
Okay. This year, I haven't noticed it, but
if he stays healthy through all 17, we will hear "Yeah, here we go" 1,200 times.
He's having the greatest season he's ever had.
He
leads the
because
NFL
of that call
and touched it. It's part of it.
And I'm saying he can keep doing it. I don't want him to stop. I just want him to stop cranking up the mic.
Right.
You guys just need to hit mute when the Cowboys come to the line of scrimmage.
And I have to say, I also was tired of the Omaha
one
stuff.
Button.
I was tired of Omaha, too.
Okay.
So,
and
I'm sure you loved that. It's like, okay, there's a guy saying Omaha. It's funny because I guess it doesn't have anything to do with anything.
No, we just need to start catering games to Gordon. I'm sorry, it's so loud.
No, just turn down the
repetitive.
mic. Just turn down the mic a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
I like it. And my dog likes it too. He gets fired up about it.
It's just my opinion, and I recognize that I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's Gunner right there.
I'm wrong in my opinion, but that's just mine.
That's Gunner saying, yeah, here we go.
So the Cowboys, were they first and goal on the 1 yard line and couldn't really get it in the end zone there at the beginning of the game?
I don't think it was at the 1, was it?
2, 3, 4.
First and goal at the 2. Yeah.
At the 2. And I understand Dak is incredible. The best quarterback in the NFL right now. Of all time. Right now.
Hot
What?
Sports.
What do you think's coming up?
Something that's not going to be very complimentary of Dak.
Who was the person who was leading the charge to make Dak the starting quarterback of this team?
We can't go back 50
years
years.
ago.
I'm just saying. It's not like I'm just against Dak. Does he ever miss guys that are wide open, like he just doesn't see them too well?
Not very often.
Not
in
this
this
year.
I don't know.
Look,
I think
if you're
that
going
if
to throw
you
it 40-plus times, you will find some occasions, he missed this guy, or he either didn't see him or overthrew him. Yes, every quarterback does
Gino
that.
did it too last night.
I think that he's throwing the ball well when he throws it. I'm just talking about the guy that's that guy is just not even covered, and
Guys he
Dak's
doesn't
holding
see.
on. Yes, right. And Dak's holding on to the ball too long, looking, and doesn't even see this guy, even though he's held the ball for quite some time.
Very rarely.
Okay.
Trust me on that one.
Yeah,
And sometimes when Dak gets tackled, I'm sacked. I'm thinking, you missed a clear guy here and you held on to it way too long, and that seems like it's kind of on you.
in Dak's history, yes. In this recent stretch, I've not seen that
All right.
more than once or twice.
Pete Carroll, I think, makes me more nervous than any other head coach.
I've said it a million times, but no one wears out a hunk of gum more than Pete Carroll.
It just I wish they would quit showing him because he just makes me so anxious whenever I see him. He always looks stressed, hunched over, smacking on his gum, way intense about something's not right. It's
Like he's watching his house burn or something.
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm a child living in a high conflict household whenever they show him on the screen. The camera on the Seahawks defensive coordinator, Clint Hurt, was right up in his face. It's way too tight of a shot
I know,
on these
all of those
defensive
are.
coordinators who are in booths. Yeah. I think that they need to have some sort of mechanism to complain to the league. You know what? If you got to show me, you can't be in the booth with me. Shoot me from across the stadium and zoom in, but just stop having this camera that's closer than it would be if I was on a FaceTime call with someone.
You know what's even worse? Did you notice at the end when they showed Dan Quinn, you could hear what he was saying?
Yes, I did.
I would think teams would have a major problem with that.
Well, I brought that up the other time about how if you have cameras in there, they probably have mics on them. Are you so sure about the security of these cameras that no one can hear what these guys are saying?
That's the first time I'd ever heard it.
I'd like to do a speed test and see if it's possible for the other team watching network TV. They show Dan Quinn. They're able to read lips. Could they get that signal decoded and down to their middle linebacker, or their quarterback, I guess in this case? He's calling the defense. Their quarterback, before the quarterback's headset shuts off.
Yes. I don't know about that, but I think they could signal it in from the sideline.
Okay.
Yeah, I bet they could.
So what's to prevent a Dan Quinn or a Clint Hurt of just taking a ball cap and just putting it over that camera?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Gigantic egos.
Is it? Yeah, well, that's the thing is, do those guys love being shown on TV so much?
I think some of them do.
That they want it.
Because it promotes them for a future head coaching gig.
Yeah.
Now, Dan Quinn doesn't need that. He could get one no matter what. But I think for a lot of those guys, it's great publicity.
Yeah.
But if you were doing that job, would you want that camera up in your face?
No, it'd make me so nervous.
With the up nostril shot?
Yeah.
No.
I don't get why more guys don't have more of a problem with it. But they showed Dion at the game plugging, I guess, his new series. It's going to be on Prime. Mm-hmm. Prime on Prime.
If you were Dion, would you tell Prime, can we just delay that till next year?
Yeah, I've been getting my ass kicked.
Wait till we get this thing turned around.
All the noise I talked in September really didn't hold up very well.
I thought it was a little cheap how Amazon makes the field graphics, the Amazon logo. Like the arrows are the Amazon smiles.
Yeah.
It just gets to feeling a little too idiocracy, everything's an advertisement deal.
It's creativity.
I guess it is a little creativity. How long has this been going on that when there's a holding call, the stadium PA plays Hold Me Now, Thompson Twins?
That's the first I'd heard of it. I think that's kind of funny.
When the opponent was offsides, they played Don't Stand So Close to Me. They were doing some bits.
Hey, they're updating the music at AT&T. That's good.
Okay.
We're not playing money for nothing anymore.
Also asking my football expert friends, does Mike McCarthy make more money now being a head coach that also calls the offensive plays versus when he was just the head coach?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
It seems to me like if you're doing that much more work, that you ought to be paid more money. Like there should be some tier structure
be his agent.
To his contract, his pay. Yeah. It's like if he's going to do that extra job, then he ought to be paid to do that extra job. Shouldn't you get paid for work?
No, I think that's a good point. Yeah.
I wonder if it's possible that somewhere in his deal.
Yes. Certainly.
Because he came here knowing Kellen Moore was going to call the plays. Maybe they did put in his deal, if I ever take over play calling duties, it's an extra $1 million.
Yes. Doesn't a good agent factor that in and have that built into the contract?
And McCarthy may have asked for it, too.
When the Cowboys scored a touchdown to make it 28-26, Seattle was leading at the time. Seattle had the 28. Why does the chart say to go for 1 instead of 2 there?
What was the score again?
28-26.
The Cowboys scored to get to 26.
Yes.
I think that was third quarter, so you're thinking the factor of there's still a lot of time left. Let's say if we're going to get into, a field goal kicking contest here in the second half, and it may not be worth it to go for 2.
Yeah, but then you tie it up at 2 at 28. That seems like it would be better than being 1 point behind if you make the extra point.
I think you still keep it a 1-score game, though. Then you're putting the pressure on them to go for 2 to make it a 9-point game if they score. But if they just get 7, then it's still a 1-score game. It's still an 8-point lead for them.
Yeah, but it's tied versus being behind by 1 point to me. I know that there's some math that says
I think
the chart is always right.
I think it's a time thing because they did go for 2 when it was in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think it's a time thing too, and I think
So how does the 1 point there help you so much more than the 2 points would?
If you go for 2 and you miss it, then they score a touchdown, it's now a 2-score game.
Okay.
If you just kick the extra point and they score a touchdown, it's still a 1-score game.
That makes sense.
And some would agree with you. Some would go for it at that point.
I got to figuring out, are curious about when did the word chippy come to be used as the way it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't find an exact good explanation for it. I found a few explanations for it. Like, when I was a kid, I don't remember them using the word chippy when two teams were battling each other on the field, getting in fights and so on.
Yeah.
I think it may come from hockey.
I think that's the first sport I heard it in.
I think it's a Canadian term.
Razor's been using it forever.
Yeah. And that it's filtered into other sports now. But originally it was a Canadian term used primarily in hockey.
I believe that.
It also means a prostitute or a promiscuous woman.
Interesting.
That's a chippy. I met a chippy. So
all right, Gordo, prostitute. Thank you. That's the O-deck.
So what's the true story of the real reason that Mark Cuban is selling the Mavericks? The story that no one wants you to hear. Well, you're going to hear it here in Muse in the News. So Cuban, I guess, sells his majority stake at a valuation of around $3.5 billion. That's what they're valuing the team at.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit lower than the $4.5 billion that Forbes had evaluated the team.
Are values in the NBA already headed down?
Or was Mark selling them perhaps a little bit undervalued because he liked the buyer so much and because this was a more detailed deal than just selling this one stake. There's other moving parts to the deal. So he sells it to the Adelson family, Sheldon Adelson, who has since passed away. But Sheldon Adelson, who ran the Sands and the Venetian out there in Vegas, they're big into gambling. Mm-hmm. Made a lot of money in gambling, that family. Well, apparently Mark was kind of a mentor. He considered Sheldon a mentor, the man who passed away. Now, of course, he's selling this to Sheldon's widow, Miriam. But Sheldon and he were close. As a matter of fact, when Shark Tank, during COVID, when they had to film episodes in a new location, they did it out at the Venetian. He goes way back with this family. And it turns out that Sheldon and Miriam's son worked for the Mavs, was an intern for the Mavs. It looks like around only 3 months, but he was an intern in corporate sponsorships, the corporate sponsorships department of the Mavericks. He's in his 20s. He just finished at Stanford. And according to a story that was in the New York Post, a source says that the whole kind of idea of Cuban staying on and still managing the team is basically grooming and mentoring Sheldon and Miriam's 20-something-year-old son to take over this team.
He'll return the favor for Sheldon mentoring him.
Right.
He'll now mentor his son.
Mm-hmm. And Maton, I think you say his name, Maton Adelson, is the son's name. So that will be Mark Cuban's understudy here at the Mavericks, according to the story in the New York Post. And the source for the story said they figured within 5 to 7 years, Maton, I think that's the way you say his name, will be running the team.
We all need to get used to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that is going to be the guy that we talk about on this show and this station for the next 40 years.
Right.
Regarding signing this player and trading that player.
More importantly, is Cuban going to teach him to be on the baseline in a sweatshirt arguing calls?
He doesn't have to do everything
threes.
exactly like Cuban. But this, the Adelson son, he also runs that team in Israel, right? When they bought that basketball team in Israel, I believe he ran that.
Yeah.
So he clearly wants to get into running a basketball team. He already does run one in Israel, and looks like he's going to be the guy.
So he's a huge basketball fan.
Yeah, of course, the family, he grows up wealthy, and they had like a suite watching the Lakers all the time, and Kobe was his guy. He loved Kobe. So Cuban will keep a 20% stake in the Mavs. I didn't realize that. Had you heard that?
I thought it would be more than that.
More than that. Mm-hmm. This says Cuban will keep a roughly 20% stake in the Dallas Mavericks, and that he was in talks to sell a minority stake of the Mavericks in recent weeks until he paused those talks to pursue this larger deal with the Adelson family. So he was already going to sell his part, or part of his part, in the Mavs, and then this deal comes up and he's like, oh, that's interesting, and he ends up selling his majority stake. So there's also speculation in this news story in the Post that Cuban was selling that minority stake to begin with because he's having a liquidity issue right now. And they bring it up in connection with some of the crypto deals that he made that have not worked out. So it was just raising questions about his finances after the collapse of FTX and Binance, and we know that Cuban is interested in crypto and probably had several crypto ventures. He had investments in, and I want you to tell me, George, how much of these following sentences would your father have understood?
Okay.
Cuban had investments in Ethereum token ApeCoin, cross-chain wallet service Blockto, crypto injective protocol.
Don't think so.
NFT metaverse developer Althea artificial liquid intelligence token, and blockchain ecosystem Ocean Protocol.
Oh, yeah, blockchain.com.
This was all according to a December 2022 article in CoinGate.
Oh, wow.
So I have a lot of thoughts on that. Mark has always said, when talking about crypto, invest no more than 1% of your net worth in it. That is his advice. I cannot imagine that he is having to sell the Mavericks because he put so much money into crypto that he has to cash out from his basketball. I just don't believe that.
Yeah.
I don't think he put that much into crypto. Now, relatively speaking, he's a billionaire, so he probably did put a lot in it, but that would be going against his own advice that he had always preached.
I wonder if billionaires do the same thing that they recommend for every household, which is you need 2 months worth. What is it? 6 months worth. Is it 6 months worth in reserve if you can afford it?
No, I think they always have 57 lifetimes in reserve.
Does Mark Cuban have a lot of cash on hand?
Yes.
Or because you're a business guy, you're always invested in things?
Well, again, it's relative. Does he have a lot of cash? Would you and I look at his bank account and think he has a lot of cash on hand? Yes. Compared to other billionaires, I don't know.
Is it related to the lawsuit? Because I'd forgotten all about this story from last
about
August,
a year ago.
That he was sued, that claiming that 3.5 million Americans lost over $5 billion in crypto assets, almost like it was a Ponzi scheme. That's what these people who are...
Yeah, but that's not very
claiming.
specific. How is he liable for...
Well, I guess maybe he was the pitchman. He as said in that story, he promoted these different... That was the one that went bankrupt, the Voyager Digital.
Right.
Now, that could be a possibility. I don't think...
You're talking billions. Then.
Yeah, I don't think he lost so much in his individual buying of this ape
But
coin.
it's because of a lawsuit against him.
So that could be the crypto tie here. That's possible.
But a lot of people advertise crypto.
Yeah, is Steph Curry getting sued?
Matt Damon,
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady, Giselle.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they are part of the lawsuit. I don't know if it's this lawsuit, but it's a different one.
They were FTX, I think.
Yes. They were
Y'all are
part of
talking
the
over
Sam
my head.
Bankman-Fried situation.
Crypto's coming back, by the way. It's up
Sure.
like 100% this year.
Okay.
Nobody talks about that. Let's cut that
So
back.
Craig's promoting crypto right now.
I'm not promoting
The
it.
Ponzi
I'm just saying
scheme.
it's not all gloom and doom that everyone thinks that doesn't look into it.
But just some have gone belly up.
Yeah. Like Bitcoin's doing great.
Right. And we still don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto was. Is it Nakamoto?
Or do we?
That was the guy in the Styx song, wasn't it?
No, that was the guy in Thomas Dolby's She Blinded Me with Science. Good heavens, Satoshi Nakamoto. You're beautiful.
Hey, here's my question, one of my many questions about this story.
Bias.
So how much of a percentage does the new ownership hold? Is it 51%,
They haven't said.
67%, 80%? If Cuban's keeping 20%.
My guess is 80, because the way I understood it, he's the only minority owner now.
Wait,
That everyone else
Cuban
is selling
owned
out.
the Mavericks? I thought that he was just the majority owner of a group of owners.
It was
Yes,
that way.
but the way I understood it from another story, maybe Deddy has details on this, that I thought the other minority owners were selling to this family also.
Yeah, I guess
with
that's
Cuban.
possible.
And over the years, I know a few of those minority owners that have cashed out. I've known
From
a
the
couple
Mavericks?
I've known a couple of them personally.
God, what kind of circles is
I
Craig
don't know.
running?
He runs in
at?
different
Wow.
circles than we do.
Holy cow.
I've seen them at my fancy dinner parties.
Yeah. Remember, this man didn't have overhead for like 25 years.
Yeah, that is true. He didn't.
So, Gordon,
While you and I were
While
just
you know,
blowing
spinning
through
like
it.
rappers, he was just stacking money.
Like you guys don't have stories out the wazoo about personal jet experiences and private concerts.
I
and-
don't think I've ever flown on a private jet.
Well, I do that all the time.
See?
Oh. You flown on a private jet? A PJ?
Yeah, I did last year
He's
to
flown
the
on Jerry's
Cowboys game
private
and
jet.
Jerry's doing Desperado games.
Dang.
Don't talk to me about the circles I run.
That's
in.
right. I forgot. I'm kind of big time too. You're right.
So, Gordon, are you saying that Cuban is passing the baton?
Okay.
All right.
That's a good one for Fernando.
That's the one you want to go out on?
Let's give him some support.
Why not?
Yeah, that's fine. That's all right.
You started your career at the ticket with skip shots surrounding you, and you're ending it as well.
Keep them coming.
Why not?
Keep firing.
Passing the baton.
Nailed it.
I like the Deep Throat Informant quote from this story. Matan is a very polite kid.
Wow, that's some inside information. So that's gosh, why weren't my parents the Adelsons?
Yeah, why didn't they buy casinos? What were my parents thinking?
I mean, instead of investing in their children, they should have invested in casinos.
Right.
That then would have invested in their children. My parents had their priorities really screwed up.
Yeah.
The house always wins.
That's right. That's right.
I coined that phrase a while back.
Including if you own the house, because it will bankrupt you trying to keep a house going. All the amount of repairs that you have.
The house
and then
does always win.
And boy, this thing's really appreciated. And you go to sell it, and then realtors say, what was your profit on it? I'll take all of that in our fees. Thank you.
Either the house or she always wins. One of the two.
Okay.
What?
Once again, your personal problems are your personal problems. But anyway, we personally welcome Matan and offer him the forum. The forum. It's very. I'm sure he was worried. Were we going to offer it to him or not? It's a very formal thing when we actually decide to do it.
Yep.
Von Miller turned himself into police.
Off.
A disturbing story.
He is up against allegations of assaulting a pregnant woman in Dallas. This happened. Let's see. It's the charge is assault of a pregnant person. That's a different charge than assault of a person?
Maybe.
It's a third-degree felony, punishable by 2 to 10 years imprisonment and up to a $10,000 fine. Police responded about 11:45 a.m. on Wednesday on a major disturbance call. Miller had left the location before officers arrived, but he's accused of assaulting his victim during an argument. She was treated for minor injuries. The woman and Miller have apparently been involved in a romantic relationship for 7 years. And she told the officers that she was 6 weeks pregnant.
Don't say anything.
That's not like a third trimester. I mean...
I kind of agree with you. When I saw the headline, I imagined her with a giant belly.
Yes. Unstable on her feet
right.
because of the right. Center of gravity's way off. And
nothing funny about it.
No,
he should not be assaulting her.
Pregnant or not.
Right, at all. But the headline was a tad misleading.
And now she's texted WFAA and said no one was assaulted?
What?
She said no one assaulted anyone.
Well,
this insane
hold
and
on.
sad.
I would even back up a little bit further than that and go, you can just text WFAA. They have one cell phone number.
Don't get bogged down in that.
Go ahead and do it.
Yes, so go ahead, Giorgio. You got. We sent it out to our
correspondent,
the George, on the other side of this table.
Felony assault against Von Miller has recanted her, I guess, her story.
Huh.
And that's out that she texted WFAA and said, quote, no one assaulted anyone, this insane and sad. That's what it says.
Mark that. Play that for Peter King next week, just out of the
Peter
blue.
alone.
Wow, I hadn't heard that development.
Yeah.
So what do we make of that?
That's a still serious story.
All of this is extremely serious.
Yes. No laughing matter.
No. But yeah, so she's recanted. And that happens sometimes in these...
I know.
When the people are still involved with each other, and so I guess that's why we have authorities to sort it out.
Yeah, that's right.
Birthdays today. Hall and Oates are fighting, by the way.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Maybe we'll talk about that some other time. Bette Midler is 78. Singer, actor. Kim Ritchie is 67.
Man, she's so great. My favorite female artist.
Kim Ritchie?
Yeah.
I thought that the Diarrhea Pants was your favorite female artist.
No one goes by that name.
What's her name?
Casey Musgraves.
Casey Musgraves.
I've always touted the great Kim Ritchie. Beautiful voice.
Charlene Tilton, 65, from the TV show Dallas. Carol Alt
Happy birthday.
is 63.
SI swimsuit cover.
Dang right.
Yeah, and didn't she marry some guy with the last name Delete? Carol Alt Delete.
I like Fernando's better.
Nestor Carbonell from Lost is 56. Craig, who's that?
He's also on the morning show.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, who is he on Lost? I really have no idea.
I know.
I don't even know who Nestor Carbonell is.
I know. I'll tell you guys off the air.
Sarah Silverman, 53. David Hornsby from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, 48. Janelle Monáe is 38. Zoe Kravitz is 35. And Lee Trevino is 84.
Oh,
wow.
Take its own.
Greatness.
And turning 88 today. I'll give you two guesses.
88.
Athlete?
He is big into sports. He's a huge sports fan.
And he's 88.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I'll give you one clue, an audio clue.
Okay.
I don't even understand why I'm having a birthday today. I mean,
Woody Allen. All right, we got to go. That's Muse, 7:36 on the ticket. Coming up next, Friday morning Scattershooting.
And now it's time for Friday morning Scattershooting with your old pal Junior Miller, right here on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310, The Ticket.
Scattershooting, and this one's for Fernando. While wondering whatever happened to Tucker Fredrickson.
Nice. Number 24, New York Football Giants.
That's from his childhood.
Okay.
One of the great things about sports is that on any given day, you might see something that's never been done before. That happened last night. That Cowboys-Seahawks game was the first game in NFL history with 75 or more points scored and no punts.
Incredible.
Also, before that game, no team in NFL history had ever had 125 penalty yards in a game without punting, and both of the teams did it last night. No team had ever done that before, and we had two do it last night.
That was an insane game last night.
And according to ESPN stats, there have now been 5 regular season games without a punt in NFL history, and Mike McCarthy has been the head coach for 3 of those.
That's another wild one.
With his Packers playing in 2 of those games back in 2014.
Oh.
Crazy. A few observations from last night's game. I love those Seahawks throwback uniforms. They are so much better.
You got to go back to that.
Than the highlighter green stuff that they wear these days. Those uniforms last night were awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I hope I look as good at 72 as Pete Carroll does.
No kidding. He has not aged in like 30 years.
He is one of those forever young guys. Maybe a deal with the devil to win titles at USC and with Seattle. I don't know.
Yeah.
Last night, on his 73-yard touchdown reception, Seattle's DK Metcalf was clocked at a top speed of 22.2 miles an hour. That's the fastest any player has been clocked at this season. Metcalf is insanely fast, but consider this. When Usain Bolt is at top speed, he's going 27.3 miles an hour.
27?
If Bolt played safety for Dallas, he would have tracked down Metcalf without breaking a sweat. Dak's MVP odds improved last night after beating Seattle and throwing 3 touchdown passes. He's now tied with Lamar Jackson at 5-1, the 3rd best odds according to Vegas, trailing only Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. And Dak was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month for November, while Deron Bland was named NFC Defensive Player of the Month. It was just the second time that 2 players from the same team were named Offensive and Defensive Players of the same month.
What was Al Michaels' line about Bland on that? I guess they didn't consider the 30th.
The only other time that happened was back in October of 2018 when Rams' Todd Gurley and Aaron Donald won the awards. This week, Andy Reid became the first coach ever to be the all-time winningest coach for 2 different franchises. He won 130 regular season games with the Eagles, 79 more wins than Greasy Neal, who was Philly's head coach in the 1940s.
Greasy Neal.
And when the Chiefs beat the Raiders last Sunday, he passed Hank Stram on the all-time Kansas City list with 125 regular season wins there.
He's so great. He's done such an amazing job there in Kansas City. And I think he evolved with the game, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Over the time that he's coached.
And while people outside of Philadelphia don't like the current Eagles coach Nick Sirianni too much, he does seem to be pretty good at his craft. On the list of coaches with the highest winning percentage in games his teams trailed in, minimum 25 games coached, John Madden is the all-time leader, winning 63% of those games. Then Nick Sirianni at 61%. Then Vince Lombardi at 57%.
Wow.
Sirianni is in a Madden Lombardi sandwich. That's the kind of company he's keeping.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's just so annoying when he looks into the camera.
I mentioned yesterday at this time that the first time I ever remember watching the Heisman Trophy ceremony on television was 1977, the year Earl Campbell won it. Well, thanks to P1 Rich, who actually found the footage and sent it to me. It wasn't a ceremony from the Downtown Athletic Club, though. That started in 1982. When Earl won his 1977 Heisman, it was presented at the end of a Heisman Trophy primetime variety show on CBS, hosted by O.J. Simpson and Elliot Gould, with appearances from Farrah Fawcett and Reggie Jackson.
What?
I will post the video this morning on Twitter. If you're a child of the 70s or 80s, you will love it.
Okay, I do not remember that.
I went through and watched it yesterday, and I remembered every bit of it. It was crazy. It was like I was 12 again. Speaking of college football telecasts, how much has the way we digest college football changed? In 1991, there were 31 nationally televised games the entire season. This season, there were 440 nationally televised games.
My gosh.
So yes, the players need to get paid.
Yeah.
The basketball world lost a contributor this month when Gary Colson passed away. He was the man who brought the three-point shot to college basketball back in 1986. He coached at Valdosta State, Pepperdine, New Mexico, and Fresno State, winning 563 games. And in 1986, he was a member of the NCAA Rules Committee, and he wanted a straw vote from the members to see who was in favor of adding the three-point shot. He said he was discouraged by fellow coaches like Norm Stewart, Digger Phelps, Gerald Myers, and Gene Bartow from bringing up a vote. But he went ahead with it anyway, and the proposal passed, and the rest is long-range history. The great Gary Colson was 89 years old.
Well, I remember when that happened. That was a game changer, and I could see why some of those old school coaches were against it.
Mm-hmm. Last week, 23-year-old Aaron Matson made Division I college sports history when she became the youngest coach in any sport to lead a team to a national championship. Matson was the legendary field hockey player for North Carolina, and when she graduated last spring, she was immediately hired as the team's head coach. Less than a year later, she led them to a national championship.
How wild is that?
At age 23.
Dang.
The Tar Heels needed double overtime to beat Northwestern, a win that gave UNC their 11th national field hockey title, the most all-time, now 2 ahead of the 9 won by Old Dominion.
She knew how to win, and she could relate to the players.
Mm-hmm. A recent survey was conducted to find the most honest and dishonest cities in America, asking the question, if you found $1,000, would you keep it or give it to the police? The survey found that the most dishonest city in America is Detroit, where 38% said they'd hand it over and 62% said they'd keep it. Also making the dishonest top 10 were Austin and Arlington.
Oh, no.
The most honest city was Jacksonville, Florida, where 62% said they'd turn it over and just 38% said they'd keep it. Second on the honest list was Los Angeles, followed by Tulsa, Atlanta, and Houston. This week's least competent criminals are 3 unnamed men who were taken into custody in St. Louis after accidentally locking themselves into a city jail known as the Workhouse. a medium security lockup which had been empty for more than a year. The trespassers had to call 911 after getting themselves trapped inside. After being sprung, they were arrested for property damage, burglary, and stealing. And finally, 2 men broke into a drugstore and stole every bottle of Viagra. Police dispatch put out an immediate alert for all patrol cars to be on the lookout for 2 hardened criminals.
All right.
That's Friday Morning Scattershooting, this edition dedicated to our producer Mike Fernandez, retiring today after 30 years of service to this show and this station. Thank you, Fernando, and Godspeed.
Thanks for hanging out with your old pal Junior Miller for another edition of Friday Morning Scattershooting. We'll see you next Friday right here on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310, The Ticket.
All right, next in the emergency break of the week, we have a hiccup, a robot, and a space out in just 4 minutes.
Patreon.com/sportsgreek.
It's time for the emergency break of the week.
You made the best of this test, and that is why you got to make the choice and decide that now it's time. That choice was unpredictable, but in the end was right. We hope you had the time of your life.
That moment when programming is brought to a complete halt.
That's the Daddy.
By a wheels-off comment or technical meltdown.
You want me to keep going?
No, that's great.
No, pal.
Hey,
we're good, pal.
No, we're good. We're good. Daddy's got shows at 7 and 9 o'clock tonight, and he'll be selling copies of his best-selling album.
Donnie's staring at me. Norm was staring at me. I was like, you want me to keep going, huh?
Norm answered that question for you. I'll tell you that much.
Daddy.
Nope.
Appreciate you.
We're good, pal.
Let's see who yanked the break the hardest this week on the Little Ticket.
That's interesting. That was Norm's last e-break, right? On like his last day. And Daddy's working this morning. And this is Fernando's last day.
That's the Daddy.
You want to get a song ready for Fernando? We'll see if he cuts you off like Norm did.
I got led down that slaughterhouse line once. I'm not doing it again.
Well, it is time for the emergency break of the week, brought to us by Crawford Services AC and Plumbing. We're going to give you 3 candidates. You get the vote on them, 888-787-1310. Candidate number 1 comes to us from the Hardline. It's Bob Sturm. He gets excited when he talks about Rosas. It's a great place. But he got the hiccups, and then he went into a few really confusing copy points.
All right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Rosa's Cafe and Tortilla Factory. Love for you to check out Love for you to check out Rosa's with or without hiccups, and enjoy the fact that it's Tuesday, and Taco Tuesday, of course, there is where you get unbelievable deals.
Enjoy the fact that it is Tuesday. Then he did explain that, but let's break that down. Do you think he was ready to go just by starting all right? Or was that filler?
Probably filler, as he scrambled for copy.
All right, one more time.
All right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Rosa's Cafe and Tortilla Factory. Love for you to check out Love for you to check out Rosa's with or without hiccups, and enjoy the fact that it's Tuesday, and Taco Tuesday, of course, there is where you get unbelievable deals.
Yeah, we ought to just cut it off right there. Enjoy the fact that it's Tuesday. That'd make a great shirt to wear around. All right, there is Bob. That almost sounds like he's drinking there, doesn't it? All right. Excuse me. Hey, let's enjoy the fact that it's Tuesday anyway. All right, there's Bob, candidate number 1. Candidate number 2, we haven't had a robot in a while. I think we've got a new robot, Matt McLaren.
If my sisters and cousins and I are all responsible for everything, we're not having traditional Thanksgiving.
It's not going to be...
It's got like spaghetti.
Yeah. Just very free...
burgers.
Yeah, freestyle.
Yeah. And
There's nothing wrong with that.
But that's usually what we do for Christmas. We don't have a traditional Christmas dinner because you're just a month removed from doing all this crap for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, do like junk food Christmas or something.
Enchiladas.
Yeah, delicious.
Let's go.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's so robotic. Are you okay?
Nothing wrong with that. I'm sorry. You're talking about hosting holidays. My brain turned off, and
You checked back. Nothing wrong with that.
It's robot mad around there.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
I would like enchiladas. Ha 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 ha.
But
Thank you.
they were 100% serious. They'd like, look.
Boy, that is robotic, isn't it?
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
To be over. Nothing wrong with that.
Let's hear that isolated one more time.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right, that's a good new drop. Candidate number 3. Sadly, from the morning show, it is me. And I've now done this to David Moore twice in 2 weeks. I was the one who asked him about Shaq Leonard taking a visit to Dallas. And it doesn't matter why I did this, but we all do this from time to time. We space out, don't listen to a part of an answer or a reply or someone like a co-host saying something, and we'll repeat the same thing. And this is now twice. I listen to David. I do. I love David. But this did not turn out well for me.
My belief would be he would pick the team that he thinks maybe has the best shot to go. Now, if you're doing that, would he go Philadelphia or Dallas? He is coming into Dallas this week for a visit. I'm not aware that he set up anything with Philadelphia yet, but people in the league felt that the Eagles would also be in on him as well. So we'll see how this plays out. You know, a lot of times with guys like this, you say the team has to get them, but this player who still has his contract in place from the Colts can pick and go, well, this is my best chance to get a ring, so why wouldn't I go here this year? And then maybe I can sign with the other team on the free agent market next year. So he has more say in this than just Dallas wanting to get him. But Dallas does want to get him. He would help their run defense. He still makes a lot of big plays for time on the field. So he seems to be an ideal fit for this defense.
Well, we shall see. And I guess the Eagles may have an interest too. So I guess he could wait.
Yeah, he just said that.
Oh, he did. Okay, yeah. I didn't know if you mentioned the Eagles or
You've
not.
done that twice now to David.
I don't know. David, I'm sorry. I didn't catch it. Well, I still love you, David, and I think you're the best, and we'll talk later this week.
Okay, that didn't sound sincere either.
That really wasn't sincere, but we needed a way to end the ranch report, and I would come up with that.
A dismount.
Man.
So you're going to give David a complex.
I know, and I love David. I really do.
So what is it about David that you tune him out?
I don't.
Why do you enjoy
I
tuning
can give you a
him
reason,
out?
but it doesn't matter. I went to go look to see when Shaq Leonard was visiting Philadelphia, and then I rejoined mentally the conversation at the end where he said Dallas, he could really help Dallas. So I didn't catch the part where he mentioned Philadelphia. And, yeah, it's just like my kids used to do this all the time. You'd be in the middle of a story with them, and then they start looking at their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And in the conversation that they were just engaged in, they'll go, do what? That was my do what moment there, and I was just looking at a screen. So
do what?
It's all on me. I am candidate number 3. So is it Bob, Hiccup Bob, Robot Matt, or Not Listening Ja? 888-787-1310. Hi, you're on the ticket. Oh, gosh. Who wins the e-brake?
I said there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Y'all get that?
Nope.
Okay. Hi, you're on the ticket. Who wins the e-brake?
And then today's Lonesome Dove quote, listening to you brag don't improve the taste of these Mexican strawberries none. And Cruz and Lito votes for Bob.
That was Woodrow F. Cole said that during the breakfast scene. Yeah.
Sounds kind of boring.
I think it was Cole that said that. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, you're on the ticket. Who wins the e-brake?
Said it to Ball.
Yeah, I would like to vote responsibly for the e-brake on Frito's last day.
Hi, you're on the ticket. Who wins the emergency brake of the week? Hello.
Hey, good morning, Musers. Shout out to the Boner Boys. They know who they are and give me Jeff.
Thank you. I'm glad the Boner Boys know who they are. Hi, you're on the ticket. Who wins the e-brake?
It's time for a better vote from Dr. Sanjay Gupta's high school swim coach. Give me George, such a great swimmer.
Thank you. Not bad. Hi, you're on the ticket. Who wins?
Oh, hi, Musers.
Hey, triple fake tiger.
Hey, is George nominated this week?
Yes.
Then vote for him.
Thank you. Hello, you are on the ticket, America's favorite radio station.
Good morning, Musers. I'd like to vote for Matt. And Fernando, you have a blessed retirement.
Oh, very sweet. Very sweet. Hi, you're on the ticket. Who wins the e-brake?
Good morning, users. It's Ashley, and I'd like to vote for George for not paying attention. And I would also like to wish Fernando a happy retirement.
Oh,
very
sweet.
nice.
Thank you. Very sweet. Hello, you're on the ticket, AM, FM, and the stream.
Good morning, Musers. I vote for Matt.
Thank you. That's how you vote right there. Hi, you're on the ticket. Who wins?
Hey, good morning. In the name of the Lee, the Harvey, and the Holy Oswald, I vote for George and want to say thank you to Fernando.
That's so wrong.
Fernando's overrated.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a winner.
Whoa. Yay.
My belief would be he would pick the team that he thinks maybe has the best shot to go. Now, if you're doing that, would he go Philadelphia or Dallas? He is coming into Dallas this week for a visit. I'm not aware that he set up anything with Philadelphia yet, but people in the league felt that the Eagles would also be in on him as well. So we'll see how this plays out. You know, a lot of times with guys like this, you say the team has to get them, but this player who still has his contract in place from the Colts can pick and go, well, this is my best chance to get a ring, so why wouldn't I go here this year? And then maybe I can sign with the other team on the free agent market next year. So he has more say in this than just Dallas wanting to get him. But Dallas does want to get him. He would help their run defense.
That's where I re-entered right there.
He still makes a lot of big plays for time on the field. So he seems to be an ideal fit for this defense.
Well, we shall see. And I guess the Eagles may have an interest too. So I guess he could wait.
Yeah, he just said that.
Oh, he did. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know if you mentioned the Eagles.
You've done that twice now to David.
I don't know, David. I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Well, I still love you, David, and I think you're the best. And we'll talk later this week.
Okay, that didn't sound sincere either.
That really wasn't sincere, but we needed a way to end the ranch report, and I would come up with that.
A dismount.
Oh man, I hate listening back to myself in moments like that. And I apologize to David. I really was trying to listen. I just can't multitask. How many?
It was, and also the underrated Craig. Yeah, he just said that. 102nd win, 33 behind Norman, the Golden Podcaster Hitzkes.
Okay. The last time we'll hear Fernando do that. Keeping track of it all these years. Fernando Fernandez.
But first, joining us now on the ticket hotline is the owner and general manager of the Cowboys. We say good morning to Jerry Jones. Congrats on the big win.
How you look, Joe? Good morning.
Good morning, Cowboys.
Another win.
Well, it was. We did, and it had. But it is a good morning. Let me start off talking about that game. Last night's halftime show wasn't nearly as good as what last Thursday's was.
Yeah, that was something.
There were no lactation cannons pointing all over God's green earth, displaying them and keeping everyone at areola point.
All right.
But this halftime show, I remained completely flaccid. So very different.
Well, what about the game, though? The game had to lift you up.
Well, it was disappointing. Disappointing.
Yeah.
Somebody from the league office forgot to tell the Seahawks that the Cowboys were supposed to win by 3 or 4 touchdowns. That's the way that the writers had written it for the NFL drama. This was our season, and that game was so close that my liver actually got to DEFCON 1 towards the end of it. I got so drunk because I was nervous that we were going to lose that the family had to actually wrestle the keys to the helicopter from me at the end of the game.
Well, you don't fly that thing anyway.
I do too. Last night I was going to celebrate by flying low through Dealey Plaza, and I'd hired New Roosevelt to take 3 shots at me. Just for the thrill of it.
How weird is that?
Thrill of it. But glad we won. Very disappointed we only won by 6 points.
Yeah, that's a win.
I like those 30, 40-point margins of victories. I think those are so much fun.
Yeah.
But I bet that we were going to win bigger, so I lost by $400,000.
Oh, no.
Jeez, Jerry.
You gave the 9, huh?
I know. I've lost so much gambling money lately.
I don't think you're supposed to be betting on the NFL, Jerry.
I may have to sell my majority interest in the team to the Adelsons.
Yeah, how about that?
I know. What's Cuban doing there?
I don't know.
There's more to that story, I think. I hate playing the Seahawks.
Why?
Because there's nothing I get tired of faster than watching that gum-smacking Pete Carroll stomp around on the other sideline like an old angry goat.
He's pretty good, though.
You know, it looks like a goat chewing on a tennis shoe, complaining to the official about every single call. I mean, has that guy ever seen anything happen on the field he agreed with?
That's a good point. I don't know.
I've seen kids who meet Santa for the first time cry less than him. Complaining left and right. And plus, he kind of looks more like some aging hipster who should be driving his Subaru around college campuses selling edibles to me.
Does he?
It's got that look.
Yeah.
And I need to remind Mike McCartney, our head coach, to quit working in so many penalties when he draws up the game plan.
Yeah, there were a lot.
How many penalty yards? Do we have more penalty yards than we had actual yards?
No, not quite.
It's pretty bad, though.
Yeah.
I wanted Bland to get him another pick 6, but instead he was just determined to suck on the field until he got that one interception.
He gave up 6 for sure.
Yeah, he did. He sure did. And in off-the-field news, off the field. Now, this is, news that comes from not on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that old gal refiled her lawsuit against me?
Yeah, why you want to bring that up?
My fake new half-biological kid.
Yeah.
My new half-daughter.
Right.
This will be the second time in a month that I've been blackmailed into doing something I didn't really want to do. First Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor, and now this.
Had a rough month.
Very rough month. Very rough month. Hey, I just want to say, and I do, that I have enjoyed calling in your program for the last 53 years and talking with Mike Fernando.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he has been a good friend. And by friend, I mean someone who answers the phone when I call in. And who has, on a few occasions, taken a bag of money that I gave him and hand-delivered it to a certain gate agent along with a note in kidnapper newspaper font saying, "Keep quiet or else." So
he's done some work for you.
Done that
great
too, huh?
friend of the Cowboys.
He's reliable.
Very reliable. And Mike, I hope you have a good permanent vacation, and I hope you take you and your wife on a nice trip. And to that end, I offer you the services of the Bravo Eugenia.
Whoa! Wow!
Okay. There you go. There you go.
Anywhere you want: Hawaii, Santorini, Texoma, White Rock, whatever your heart desires.
Being a bagman pays off.
It does. Just keep your wife away from Captain Rex, because I got some bad experience doing that with mine.
All right.
But enjoy your time off, Mike, before you go to that great big glory hole in the sky. That's the way I like to think of it. Good morning.
Good morning. There goes Jarrett.
All right, and this is quite an unusual Gordo's Corner because we have a confluence happening. We have fantastic Friday fan feedback. We have Friday morning quarterbacking. And we have an award that we might have to give out.
Baby.
All right, fantastic Friday fan feedback way. T1 Durbin says, Gordon, believe it or not, on the subject of eyes getting stuck that way, as I talked earlier this week about always having my eyes crossed when my mom's friends would come over to visit her. I'd always walk in with my eyes crossed and keep them crossed the whole time. And she would have to be very uncomfortable because she didn't know. She knew if she corrected me and said, don't cross your eyes, I would pretend like I have no option. Like that's just the way I was born, and it looks like my mom's just ragging on a kid with a disability. But she also didn't want her friends to think that my eyes were that way. So it was a great gag. Anyway, Drew says, believe it or not, I have a friend that had her crossed eyes actually get stuck.
Wow.
And she had to have surgery on the muscles to put them back. They were stuck for like a month.
So it's not a wives' tale.
I guess not.
Wow.
That's what one P1 reports. Jim wanted to comment on Jim name changes. Sticking with the beating of changing a name earlier this week after Mark Cuban announces that he's selling his majority stake in the Mavs. And we told the story about him offering me $125,000 to change my name to Dallas Maverick for 1 year. And what a beating it would be to go through all the paperwork and change it on everything. And that led us into talking about women who change their name, when they get married or when they also get divorced. Jim said, I've been married for 21 years to my current wife.
Okay.
I always think that's funny when guys introduce women as their current wife.
Current wife.
Jim says she still uses the last name of her first husband.
Well, that's a little weird.
Come on.
So, she didn't want to change her name when she married Jim, but she just kept the name of her former husband. He says she has, in some circumstances, used a hyphenated version of that and my last name. So is that unstable? Her hyphenated last name is her first husband and then her current husband.
Why is she doing that?
I don't know.
Did she have kids with the first one?
Maybe that's the case.
Does that change it?
And it's to me, there's no really great solution to the women changing their name thing, because there is value in, if you have kids with someone, that everyone shares the same last name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would think, well, that would be, then the husband also changes his name and they just hyphenate her maiden name and then his name. But then that falls apart after one generation. When those kids get married, they can't then have 4 last names with their new,
right.
it just, so you kind of do have to pick one and go with it. That's a tough one. We had a big birthday on Monday morning, and I was sent an email and made aware of it. Do you recognize this woman there?
Oh, yeah, I saw this email.
You got that email too?
Yep.
Who dat?
George? Who do you think that is?
You know George.
I do?
Oh, yeah.
I don't recognize her.
Looks like a model, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That is Little Mad Dog of P.
Oh my gosh, I didn't recognize her.
Dog and Mad Dog. What were their names? That sang Robot Santa, which we will hear next week.
I didn't recognize her. And I've seen her more recently than you guys. Her dad plays in the Bird Dogs.
That's right. Her dad, Kevin, plays in the Bird Dogs. Anyway, Mad Dog turned 22 on Monday. How
Happy
crazy
birthday.
is it? Time flies. She was like 3 when she recorded those songs. She was really young and had lots of musical talent, and I don't know that she ever really pursued it.
Yeah, she still is. She's
she is good.
Yeah, she's really talented.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Mad Dog.
Yeah.
Giving us lots of entertainment over the years.
I woke you up, sleeper.
Santa said. We'll hear it next week.
Or Santa says, whatever it is.
Santa says. The bad story about Zach McElroy. You guys may remember we did the story of the guy who was traveling with his family over Thanksgiving. They get in a car wreck. They were going down to Austin. And the wife was driving. Zach was in the passenger seat, I'm assuming, and they had their 2 kids with them. I think 9-year-old and 12-year-old. I'm not sure that I have the ages right of their kids. Horrible car accident. So tragic. Zach was killed in the car accident, as well as the 2 children. The Leah, I think, Lauren, I'm sorry, the wife, she barely survived the crash, and of course has a long, hard journey ahead of her, not only physically but emotionally, losing your husband and your 2 children. But I received so many emails from P1s about Zach and his family. P1 Bill said, Zach was a friend to all, an incredible dad. They were from Fort Worth. Incredible dad and husband, always had his infectious smile on his face. His wife, Lauren, barely survived the crash. But please keep her and the rest of the family in your thoughts and prayers. Zach was a good P1. And the last time Bill and Zach were together, they were listening to the Hardline in the car together.
Wow.
Jeez.
P1 David says, my wife, who is a friend of the McElroy family, said that Zach, who passed away in a car accident in Central Texas, has a ticket tie. Not only was he a big listener, but he was also very good friends with Josh Harbuck. And I don't know if you guys recognize that name, but that's Hal J's son, who also tragically passed away in a car accident on the way to Austin a few years back.
That's right.
But Zach and Josh were friends. So just please be careful out on the roadways, particularly on that 35. Also, Zach played football at TCU, as did his dad, Harold. And his dad was past president of the Colonial Country Club.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
so Josh played also at TCU, so that's how I guess they knew each other. Wow.
Past tournament chair, Zach's dad, past tournament chair of the Schwab Classic at the Colonial.
Wow.
And Zach had taken over as CEO of his dad's company.
Okay.
So, so Zach was a good P1 and was beloved by a lot of other P1s who were friends with him.
Man, so many deep local ties.
Yeah. Deep local ties. Indeed.
Such a sad story.
It is. All right. Should we go to the phones? Yes, we should. Let's go to Marcus in Fort Worth. You're on the ticket with the Musers.
This is the hot fried Georgia player of the game.
Yeah! Whoa! I cannot believe it, but it is time again to award the Hot Fried Georgie Player of the Game, the most prestigious weekly award in the NFL. Dak won it last week. Really, the way he's playing, he could win it any week. And how about that defense? So many great performances last night. But this week's winner is
Let me tell you where I was going with this whole thing.
No. This week's winner is none of the aforementioned Dallas Cowboys. It is none other than that famous and handsome Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, Mr. CeeDee.
Too much to say.
Way too long.
Lamb. 12 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown. He's now number 2 in the NFL in receiving yards, number 2 in receptions. He also had 2 carries for 30 yards. That's 15 yards a pop. That would lead all running backs in the NFL over the course of the season. Congratulations, CeeDee Lamb. You're the Hot Fried Georgie Player of the Game.
Yay! Best friends.
Turn me the F up.
Instant. Whoa. What was that? Sorry. What'd you say?
Turn me the F up.
Whoa.
Let's go to Austin in Dallas. Confusing. Instant reaction.
Hey, this is Septuple Fake Tiger.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Hey, I wanted to introduce the Hot Fried Georgia Player of the Week, but that a-hole got to it before me.
Well, that's the way it goes. Do you have any observations of the game? Yeah.
Hey, I have a big list of people with 2 first names, like Larry David.
Gordon Keith.
I'm thinking of officially adding you to it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
It's very confusing because people always mess up my name when I'm having to give it to them, at a business or something. They always write down Keith Gordon. Because I guess, is Gordon more of a last name than it is a first name?
No.
I've always thought of it as more of a first name.
Yeah.
Isn't there a famous Keith Gordon?
There's an actor named Keith Gordon.
Okay.
And there's sometimes where I'll get DMs. People are trying to slide into his DMs, and I'll get it instead. And I'll see how many years I can keep him going. Claiming that I'm the actor. Giving him all sorts of insight. Shut up. Giving him all sorts of insight into the movies and the co-stars that I hated.
Hey, don't tell this guy to shut up. He's got a list of...
Okay. Well, that's not that great a thing. Why is that a force field?
I was going to say it's kind of a boring list.
You can't...
Gordon, do you want to hear the rest of the list?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we got Paul Ryan, Paul Stanley, Larry David, Paul George, Benjamin Franklin.
Thanks for your time. Okay.
Hey,
there you go. No, I enjoyed his list. No, come on. it's great. It's great. Listen, I'm listening. Come on.
I was moderately interested to see where that was going.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Gordo, thank you. That is the corner. It's 9:28 here on the ticket. Coming up next, we have a special guest. Well, as you may know by now, this is the last day for our producer, Mike Fernandez, who is retiring. A ticket day oneer. He's been with us for 30 years. Mike is in studio with us right now. And Mike?
I'm nervous.
This is non-disclosure, Mike.
I'm very nervous.
Well, we wanted you in studio here for this segment because we have somebody joining us now on the ticket hotline who wants to wish you well in your retirement. Hello, caller. You're on with Mike.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. This is Marv Albert. I'm calling because over the years I've heard so much about you, all great things, and I wanted to wish you all the best. And 40 years in sports broadcasting, and I'm told by my sources, which are not always that trustworthy, you grew up in Toms River, New Jersey, huge sports fan, and were a regular listener to a lot of, I would say, difficult seasons for the Knicks and the Rangers, and then both teams turned around, as you know, and the Knicks won the 2 titles, a couple of legendary teams, and the Rangers with solid clubs, but did not win the cup again since 1994. And I know you're familiar with all that, and I just wanted to say hi and congratulations and all the best to you.
You are my hero, Marv. Thank you so much. I remember listening to Marv on WNBC radio back in the day. You remember those days?
I certainly do. I had a talk show that preceded Wolfman Jack for some of us. And he was always. We carry the games on WNBC radio. They were the predecessors to WFAN. And Wolfman, I know, who was a very nice guy, but would get so annoyed when our games went long and it cut into his time. That's what I remember about the Wolfman. But yeah, those were great days. I mean, particularly for the for radio, because there wasn't as much TV of sports, so we were it in terms of Knicks and Ranger broadcasts, which was terrific. It was really sports that could only be heard on the radio. Until then, everything changed, obviously. So
this is one of the sweethearts guys of broadcasting, just a fabulous human being. And I grew up watching and listening to Marv. He is the reason I wanted to get into broadcasting.
Wow.
I used to listen to his intros to Knicks and Rangers games, sit in the bedroom, and recreate them on my tape recorder.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I remember.
You need to bring those tapes
I
out.
remember Eastern Airlines was a big sponsor, if I remember correctly.
They were big. Yes, correct. along with sub-hose socks, if you remember that.
And now I'm going to join you in retirement.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm having a really good time. I mean, it's a combination of reading quite a bit. I'm big into politics. Mr. Binge TV, watch a lot of games. Working out with a trainer, probably the best shape of my life. And, staying in touch with a lot of people I work with at NBC or TNT, and spending lots of time with my family and listening to my son Kenny, watching him whenever possible.
I watched Kenny last night. He emulates you. He never takes a day off.
No, it's sick, actually. But I used to do the same. It was, you wanted to work, and the games were so much fun. But yeah, he's had a week where he sat in for Mike Breen yesterday on the Knicks, and then he's in Toronto tonight, and then he'll do actually the Giant game on Sunday on Fox. So yeah, he's pretty busy. Yeah,
Clyde's going to up his wardrobe, isn't he?
That's Clyde is one of the all-time great people, incidentally, but he has followed through on his image with some unusual outfits, and will continue to do it. Kenny hasn't gone to that route, I must say. He's very conservative with his outfits.
And Marv, what kind of books are you reading? Because Mike's a huge reader too, so he could take a few suggestions from you and start a book club with you.
Well, I don't know if I could make good suggestions, but as I said, I like political books. I like Bob Woodward, David Axelrod's book, Peggy Noonan from the Wall Street Journal has a collection of columns. So I jump around quite a bit, but streaming to me has become, there are so many great shows on now. So in between watching games, I find it, a whole batch of them, from Bosch to Slow Horses, which I recommend.
Watching it tonight, Marv.
Wow,
it's really good. It's crazy, but it's terrific. I also like a lot of British and French shows with subtitles. Really, detective shows.
My God, he's like duplicating my life.
And Golden Bachelor, you're watching that, Marv?
Yeah, what about that?
Golden Bachelor.
No, I'll pass on that one.
Yeah, Gordon.
I do watch. I'm a big Jimmy Kimmel fan, and he does parodies of the show on a regular basis on his stand-up when he starts. So he does all kinds of parodies on that, which I find humorous.
We were all Letterman fans, and that was always huge when you would go on that show. And then watching Sesame Street with my kids, I loved it when you would come on and count with the count and things like that.
That was some of my finest work, actually, I thought.
May have been. It was great.
But I miss Dave. I even miss, even though he does have a very good interview show on that is streaming now on a regular basis, and he does pop up quite a bit. But I miss his humor. We text once in a while back and forth, but I just loved his work, and he was. I like that kind of sense of humor. And Kimmel to me is the closest to him.
Yeah.
In terms of his style. So.
That's Kimmel's hero, is Letterman.
It is. Yeah. No question. But Jimmy's also a big sports fan. Dave was a sports fan too, but we would have these conversations which really made no sense, which is why he was so funny. He was a big Cincinnati Red fan. He grew up in Indianapolis, but I took him to a couple of games. He sat with me once when I was doing in the booth when I did a hockey game, because there was a team in Indianapolis at one time, a hockey team, a minor league team. And he came on my baseball pregame show when I was at NBC, and he interviewed David Cohn, which was hysterical because David Cohn has a great sense of humor. So it was the most nonsensical interview you can imagine, but it was great. It was really fun.
Well, this guy is my hero. I remember way back when I was doing TV in Flagstaff, Arizona, he let me come up to NBC and he recorded promos for me.
Marv did?
A little spare.
Really?
Yeah, 25 years old, and he let me come to NBC and recorded promos on the set of WNBC.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Marv, you're the best.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. But I really wish you the best, and I've heard so many great things about you. And you enjoy retirement, because it really is. If you open yourself up to all the kind of things you like, it's a great time. It really is.
I certainly will. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, Mike, all the best again.
Thank you, Marv.
Thank you, Marv.
Thanks, Marv.
Okay,
Really
guys.
appreciate it. There he goes, the great Marv Albert.
Wow.
And Mike's all-time hero.
He really is. He's a fabulous guy.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. He was a mentor. I grew up watching him. I emulated him. My sense of humor is like his. Wow.
By the way, big thanks to the voice of the Mavericks, Mark Followell. He helped broker that. And
Mark, thank you.
It wasn't the easiest to find the avenues to get a hold of Marv because, as he mentioned, he's now in retirement. But Mark made it happen, so thank you to Mark.
Oh, thank you so much, Mark. Wow,
Hearing
guys.
that voice is just so
great.
funny.
I meant
him
to tell him how
phone.
missed he is on the NBA. The NBA is just not the same without Marv making the calls.
Yeah, I know. In that voice, did you know immediately when you heard him?
Oh my God! That's the soundtrack. That's the soundtrack of my childhood.
Yeah.
Wanted to say
so great.
All right, that's
and
awesome.
thank you for Gordon for being kind.
Yeah, we had to.
Yeah, I didn't bring up.
We had to put some
I was
restraints
getting a
on
little
What are some of your
nervous.
worst memories, Marv, of your career?
When you started asking him questions, I was getting nervous.
Yeah, he laid out. No,
right.
I'm not going to watch The Golden Bachelor.
All right.
Do you know Marv's real name? His birth name? I didn't know this.
Marvelous.
Marvin Philip Aftrichtig. I can't even say that. Alfrichtig.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I wonder why I
that.
changed it.
That was a good move.
It's hard to say.
All right, well, that was great. We're going to say our show goodbyes to the retiring Mike Fernandez coming up next.
Could you imagine, and you're going to have to imagine it somehow, doing Friday mornings without hearing Fernando's voice?
I can't. I'm so happy for him that he doesn't have to get up and get you guys aligned as early, as consistently as he does. But, I mean, we've had some incredible conversations prior to the show talking about a myriad of different subjects and stuff that just cannot hit air. And he's been such a passionate fan of my sport and a good friend. I'll miss it. I really will.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's an enjoyable couple of minutes, and then I keep him on as long as I can after to talk about a few things, and then he has to run to get you guys all set up again.
And I know your boy's hanging up his cleats, man. Mike Fernandez, thank you, Mike, for all you've done, baby. Appreciate you, and hook 'em.
I'm still here next Thursday.
Give
so.
Fernando a big kiss, too, because he won't be there next Thursday.
That's right. Maybe that's what I'm thinking, that Fernando's not going to be
George,
here, so it doesn't count.
You do that. You give him a kiss.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. I'll kiss Fernando, and we'll talk next week.
I feel bad that he's retiring, but I feel great for him that he's retiring so he doesn't have to get up at midnight anymore. I don't know what that life must be like. All I know is it would have driven me out of that business a long time prior. But it isn't just because Mike is a friend of mine. I truly think that he's the best producer of a radio show in America because I am basically America's guest. I've been on 94,300 talk shows in my career. And I know the good producers because they just are smart people and they get shows ready to go. And, you know, the amount of prep work that Mike has done over the years, and I know because I've been part of a lot of that prep work, is just astounding compared to his peers. So I'll miss him. I know you guys will miss him terribly. And I'm fortunate to call Mike a friend.
That's Daryl Razor Ray, Brian Jones, Troy Aikman, and Peter King saying goodbye to Mike Fernandez, our producer of 30 years here on the Morning Musers. And, yeah, Fernando's last day. If this is my turn, I'd just like to say the first thing that came to mind this morning when we had our final phone call, I always call Fernando on the way in to tell him I'm awake. Sometimes it was the opposite. Fernando would call me, "Are you alive?" Oh, yeah, crap. What time is it? So he's always kept us straight. But I remember the early days when we got moved to mornings and Mike became our producer. You really, I know you helped me because the job seemed too big for us. It really did. We were in our 20s, and man, you did so many great things for us, just like setting us up with people like Peter King, who would not have taken us seriously back then.
Right.
But they did because of you. And, yeah, I appreciate you in so many different ways, and the show is not going to be the same without you. It's going to be really difficult to replace you, and you are the best producer in America, and America's the greatest country, so that means the world. And, but you mean the world to us, Mike. And, yeah, I hope you have the best retirement ever. We ought to play golf now that you have time to play golf. And, yeah, I wish you all the best.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate it. See, he's trying to make me cry.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
he's making me cry.
I'm going to save that for later. But thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, for those who don't know, nobody has put in more hours here at this station in 30 years than Mike. He is the pro's pro. He is the ultimate professional, and he gets in at midnight.
Yeah.
To get our show ready. He gets in at midnight. He has had the craziest sleep schedule for 28 years now, where he sleeps in 2-3 hour shifts. And he gets in at midnight, and he has the show prepped for us. Nobody in this business comes close to him in the ability to get stories, find interesting notes, build segments, give us ideas. We have a lot of segments to burn through every morning, and there is a 0% chance we could have done it without him. There's a reason he's the gold standard for producers here at this station, and why all these guys look up to you. I can't do it either without getting emotional.
Please. Thank you for using the one word that's most meaningful to me, and that's professional.
Yeah, that describes you very well.
I don't take that word lightly.
You're a pro, and you've been... I can't think of anyone who's more reliable than you. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. As that saying goes, you're impeccable with your word. You're just incredible.
It's 10:44.
So he's officially in retirement right now.
Yeah,
I guess.
right.
25 seconds.
You're going to pay me now for these words?
Well, I gave a lot of my personal thoughts in a note that I've written you that you're about to receive, or I don't know if we've already given it to you yet. But I figured we'd at least end, since Giorgio's backing out.
What does it say? Go F yourself?
No.
I read that note. I didn't know if that was from you or not.
Since Giorgio's backing out, I figured I would at least come give you your kiss.
Oh, no. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Oh, he bugged out with him.
Oh, no.
Gordo hugged and kissed Fernando.
Oh, I knew he had it in him.
I've been wanting to do that for 25 years.
It finally came out.
We have something to present to you. Catman, would you like to present it to Fernando?
I'm going to also try to not be emotional, but it's very difficult.
I want to thank Kat real quick for allowing us to do our job the way we do our job.
Yes.
Not interfering. Now, of course, we gave him huge ratings that built that mansion for him. But thank you anyway.
Don't have a man.
Fernando with a shot.
Just
Thank you,
knock
Kat.
down the. That was good because it removed all the emotion I was feeling there. On behalf of the Musers and the Ticket and Cumulus, you are a true professional, a friend.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to present this with you in honor and recognition of your legendary career here.
Tombstone.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You can say what it says there.
It says, in recognition of your legendary career, 30 years of dedication to the Ticket, endless hours and contributions to the Musers, 5 Marconi Awards, Texas Radio Hall of Fame morning show. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mike.
All the best.
Thank you.
You will be missed. Your professionalism, but also the cynical humor that we share. I am going to miss that every day.
And
for
it's heavy.
Sure.
I can throw this at my kids when they give me a hard time.
Gosh.
Thank
Please
you.
don't use it as a weapon.
Thank you, guys.
Speaking of your family, message here from your wife, Cindy, and your kids. They wanted.
Do I want to hear it?
Yes, they wanted to pass along this note. We are so proud of him. We are excited for his next chapter. Cindy says, although he will now be messing up my morning routine.
Yeah.
LOL.
I've heard that.
And we all love him very much.
No.
Yeah.
And yes, I probably can't finish my thoughts that I have for you. We've had a very special relationship for a long time, and I'm going to miss you tremendously.
I do want to say just this one thing. This would not be possible without the wife that I have. She knew that really it was the only thing that would make me happy, and she allowed me to do it. And I told her that last night, and so I love her.
That's great. That's great. And this is from the three of us. You can open maybe a little bit later. You don't have to open it right now.
We've got something to do here after the show, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we do. That's right.
Ceremony for you.
But that's from the Musers.
What are they going to do,
there.
fire me?
And by the way, we should let the P1s know that when we came in this morning, Fernando had a parting gift for all of us.
Oh, yes.
So there were 3 bottles on the table, and there was a tag on each bottle, and each bottle tag said, "Goodbye, friends. I'm ready," and it was a bottle of the Calling.
We all got
Jim
a bottle
Nance's
of the Calling.
wine. Fernando got us each a bottle of the Calling.
I ran that by Joe Buck the other day, and he loved it.
You're awesome, Mike.
Oh, Mike.
Thank you,
Congratulations
guys.
on a great career.
Way to go, Mike.
Let's go meet in the conference room.
Enjoy your retirement.
Yeah, enjoy it. Fernando Fernandez.
A legend.
Off into retirement.
Yes. All right. We blew out crosstalk for good reason, but trust us. Coming up next is The Invasion with Donnie and Matt. We'll be back Monday morning, 5:30 on the Ticket, maybe.
It's called the Schlong.
Thanks, Fernando.
Get the State Podcast at patreon.com/sportsgreek.
This week's e-brake has already been yanked, but there's still plenty of misfires, misspeaks, and stop-downs from the Tickets broadcast week. We've got the best of the rest. It's time for the NIT-brake.
All right, 2:39 here on the Sweet Spot. Appreciate you being by the channel. We have the Hardline and Why Today Doesn't Suck coming up in just a bit. And yes, we did have the e-brake this morning, and our friend Justin, who's off this week, cleaned up. He had a nice week, and let's update those totals here, David, because we're still comfortably in the lead, but Justin made some...
He's making a little bit of a run.
Made a push.
So this morning's nominees were Bob, Matt McLaren, and George, who ended up winning. All three were on Justin's team. So he had a huge week. You're still in the lead, Sean, with 22.
Yay.
I'm right behind you with 20. But Justin making a run. He's now got 15, so he's within 5 of me. And
6 unanswered for Monto.
We extended the season for him to give him a chance, and here he is making that fourth quarter run. So there's still not a 100% chance he ends up in a gorilla suit at Ticket Stock this year.
Still anybody's game.
He's going to need some more big weeks.
All right, let's get to the nominees for the NIT-brake, and Monty usually handles this, but your capable hands.
Let's do this. Yeah, let's have some fun here. Let's start with those Work in Progress 2.0 guys. They were filling in for the Musers last Friday. The Musers took Black Friday off, so Justin and DJ were handling the emergency break of the week. And Sean, I'm sure you've done this filling in a few times. I've been part of it a few times, and my biggest fear of doing that segment is people not calling in. Because it's a caller-driven segment.
Yeah.
And that fear came true
no.
to Work in Progress last week.
All right, sports caller, you are on the air. Who do you got?
Ham chicken.
Ham chicken.
Good vote.
Excellent vote, sir. 888-787-1310, voting for the emergency break of the week. Sports caller, you are on the air.
Yeah, going to vote for Corby and the banquet.
Corby and the banquet.
Yeah,
all right.
Jack.
All right, we appreciate the vote. And I don't remember a time that this has ever happened. We don't have another caller lined up ready to go.
3 people woke up this morning.
When has that ever happened?
Let's throw the number out there and wait 40 seconds for the calls to start flowing in.
We might just have
to.
We might just have to go around the room here.
Wow.
Dylan Reed, who do you vote for on the e-brake?
I've never felt less good about my
I know.
vote as a broadcaster
This
than
is
right
literally
now.
never happened.
This is such a
before.
built-in.
Oh, we have a call.
Oh,
we got a call. Dylan, shut up. Caller, you are on the air.
DJ, we're still voting?
We're still voting.
Well, then I'm going to have to take DC one more time.
Thank you, Cruz. All right, we got 2 from Cruz.
Cruz from Aledo called in twice to help out.
The Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's the tryptophan. People are sleeping in. They're doing their Black Friday shopping.
Boy, DJ was very happy to tell Dylan Reed to shut up, too.
First time he's able to tell somebody to shut up.
I guess so.
All right, candidate number 2, we go to Maddie Beers, who made a weird noise this week.
Right. No, yeah, I know. Ghostface Killer, man. Come on.
God, that's your one go-to, right?
That's not true. I know them all.
I'm waiting.
Well, we're talking Mavs
okay,
right now.
all right. We'll
reset the
segment.
segment.
Okay.
The RZA and the
basketball.
SZA. The Ghostface
But
Killer.
not SZA. That'd be a weird addition to the Wu-Tang Clan. SZA. The RZA and the JZA, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
You know what I meant. I misspoke. I know my guys. Come on.
Okay.
All right. No, but this is...
Here it comes.
It seems...
That was a weird noise.
He does it a lot, but that one was really long and clear. That was a good one.
I can't wait to review that one.
Is he crying?
Do we have that isolated?
I can amplify it for you really quick here
Please
with
do.
Adobe Audition. Let's see how this sounds. All
Great
right,
software.
I amplified this. Let's see how it sounds.
No, but this is. It seems.
That was a weird noise.
Put that to music.
Sounds like Curly from the Three
About to
Stooges.
start crying.
I know. It's just got too much. Just too emotional.
Goodness.
Another one for Matt. Big week for Matt McLaren. This is during a live spot where he gets he starts choking, starts stumbling on a few words.
And now their newest release, the Bottled in Bond. It's hitting stores this month. Some of the best stuff they've ever made. It's fantastic. Aged 4 years, 100 proof, 26% blue corn, 25% white corn, 44% rye, and 5% malted barley, making the perfect holiday gift for bourbon lovers. So check them out. It's Still Whiskey Austin Company. Excuse me. I'm choking. I was choking. Still Austin Whiskey Company. You can find them online at stillaustin.com/Matt.
It happens, man.
Oh, man. This is a big week for it with the allergies. Because as I've mentioned, I've been in sinus hell. I got through it, but you still kind of have the back of your throat. If you're talking for a while, sometimes you run out of air, you run out of liquid in the back of your mouth to get you through it.
Frogs jump up. You
Frogs
never know.
will get in there, and then it's weird because if you're just having a conversation with your buddies and that happens, it's no big deal. It happens all the time, but when you're on the radio and it happens, oh my God, you can't talk, you got a frog in your throat,
Yeah,
e-brake,
they don't even
e-brake.
give him a second.
E-brake. All right, Gordo is our next candidate, and he was this isn't a not listening where he's repeating something that was said on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he was doing here was listening to something in his headphones on another channel. I know in the control room you can change it to listen to the computer. I think he was listening to his laptop or something, and he just wasn't ready to go for his segment.
And Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310, The Ticket.
All right, we had a really wheels-off football game last night. Been a lot of those in the NFL this season. We'll talk about the state of play in the National Football League and listen to some Tom Brady comments. Coming up here at 9:35. But first, 9:18, time for Gordo's Corner, brought to us by Tie Lock George, Laser Eye Care, and A1 Locksmith Security and Safes. It's time for Gordo's Corner.
Yay.
Oh, I thought you were listening to the show.
No. Prepping something else there. Back to you guys.
All right.
Back to you, Gordon.
High
I
school
did not
football
buy
scores.
this thing.
Took a little bit of time.
Love how put out Craig is.
High school football scores.
That's great.
There has been times sitting in the control room running the board when there was another producer in the producer's chair where he was listening to something in his headphones and half the segment would go by and he's still listening to Metallica and not knowing we're back from break yet or not calling David Moore. So that kind of thing happens. But when you're hosting the segment,
Still
you
happens.
really... Yeah?
Yeah.
Still happens from time to time. Candidate number 5 in the NIT-brake this week comes from the show The Sweet Spot.
Uh-oh.
From 1 to 3 here on the ticket. And this is one of our very best friends, Kevin Captain Crunch Landrum.
Oh, boy.
Landrum. And one of his e-brakes prior was crunching down on some granola.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what he's known for. Time Crunch.
Yeah, they made a movie
star.
about it.
Yeah, he's a star of a feature film. And some controversy here. He might have been crunching. It's not as loud. But let's see if Lando was eating when he popped on earlier this week. So they have Memphis on Friday night, the Grizzlies. I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens
back
next.
away from the microphone right now. And
Well, they have one on Twitter of the Mavs horse with a baseball bat holding up a Winnie the Pooh doll.
Okay.
Yeah, because they beat
As
Memphis
Lando
earlier
eats
this
granola.
season.
Did I do it again?
Do you have another crunch there? Don't turn your mic off.
Yeah,
when you
leave
scold
it on.
yourself.
Are you eating?
Come on, dude?
No, that was a drop from him.
A couple questionable things here. There's another sound I want to play for you right here. I don't know who this comes from. It could be from Lando. It could be for you or me. I don't know what this is.
Do you have another crunch there?
It's like a throat noise.
Do you have another crunch there?
Hold on. Let's play one more time.
You've been dealing with throat things.
It could be me. I'll raise my hand and take the blame here if it is me.
Do you have another crunch there?
Just a little background noise.
Okay.
And then the crunch in question, we're going to have to amplify this live again.
It's going to be a regular segment one day, the crunch in question.
He outed himself. No, it was allergies. The Mavs horse with a baseball bat holding up a Winnie the Pooh doll.
Okay. Yeah, that was a crunch.
No. That sounds like a crunch to me.
You outed yourself because you're like, did I do it again? So you acknowledge that you were eating.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of Lando's game now.
I went chewy granola bar.
What kind of granola bar?
I went chewy.
You're going to have your Matt McLaren cry.
God, I love that.
So there's Kevin Landrum. And finally, those morning musers. Craig Jr. Miller mentioned a superhero that I have never heard of before.
And remember, we talked with Gary Mack, who was the curator of the museum at the time.
The Midnight Cowboy.
And, no, that's Bill Mack. That's Gary's older brother who bought Gary's first .38 revolver from him for $10. No, Gary Mack, who was the curator for many years, he passed away a few years ago. But even just sitting there talking with Gary Mack was a real thrill for me because Gary Mack was huge in the conspiracy circles. Gary Mack was the guy who found Badge Man in the famous Mormon Polaroid photograph.
Who's Badge Man?
Badge with a B.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, I need to collect my winnings because I put it all on that Craig would make a joke about Badge Man.
And there he is, Vagman. All right, time for speed round of voting. I'm not going to run them all down again. We all were paying attention. Let's start the voting from my left and go clockwise.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kevin Landrum, the nominee. Who do you vote for? Speed round.
Dubs up.
So, vote for Work in Progress. J. King, Birthday Boy.
Give me Vagman.
Vagman.
Time Crunch 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Okay, that's a vote for Lando. Sean?
I got to go with the lack of interest in Friday Work in Progress.
Okay, there's 2 votes for Whip. I'm the deciding vote, and my vote can be the tiebreaker. So I'm voting for Craig Jr. Miller Vagman. So that is 2 votes to 2 votes. I will take the win here, unless we I guess we have...
We have a tie. What are you talking about?
So how do we break the tie? We flip for it?
Yeah.
You have a coin?
I could change my vote.
No, go to Google and type in flip a coin, and it'll do it for you.
Okay.
Takes time.
It is...
Flip.
Okay, heads Whip, tails Vagman.
Okay. It is... tails.
Yes!
Junior Miller.
Vagman.
Craig Jr. Miller, congratulations on your first NIT-brake win. It is 251. Why Today Doesn't Suck is next.
Once again, The Ticket presents Why Today Doesn't Suck.
Sucking on chili dog. Sucking on a dog. Sucking on a chili dog. Sucking on chili. Sucking on a dog. Sucking on a chili dog. Sucking on chili dog.
And now, here are your hosts, Sean Bass and David Mino.
It's a sweet spot on a Victory Friday. Sean Bass, David Mino, and congrats to Junior for not his first, but his second NIT win.
Right.
He is now tied with George and Ham for most NIT victories in the history of the segment. And at 3 o'clock, it's Ham.
Thank you, Mino. Eatsy's Market and Bakery and Sante Center for Healing brings you Vagman Davidson.
Thank you. Whoa. Thank you very much. You a little loud? Your earball's a little bit loud.
Whoa.
So live from Rally House on Preston and Forest, the home base Rally House.
Rally House. Rally House. It's a rally. It's a house. It's a rally house.
Today is December 1st. And
does your rally house have cracks around the...
Unfortunately, it will be my last day of hosting Why Today Doesn't Suck for the time being.
That we know of.
Yeah. 30 days left in 2023, and on this day in history in 1913, the Ford Motor Company institutes the world's first moving assembly line because the demand is so high for the Model T. How about that?
Stacking them deep and selling them cheap.
They produce dozens at a time.
Could that get up to 7 miles an hour?
I wonder what the Model T could get up to. Surely like 35 by then. In 1953,
game career average.
Internet says 42 miles per
Ooh,
hour.
there you go.
Speed demon.
Hauling balls.
In do you think that there were people, you know how like we have people like Donovan that say they'll never get into any sort of driverless car?
I think I'm with them.
You'll never get in one.
Not that I know of.
You will. Your kids will trick you. They'll put a dummy in a car and you won't know the difference.
I think I'm of the age where I can hold out and be fine.
An inflatable Favre.
But what if they don't let you drive? Like there's
like the
no way
you got to blow it up.
They don't let anyone drive. What are you going to do then? I'll never do it.
You think society, in this country where you can't change anything without people rioting,
My dad says you took.
there will be a time
off
where
on defense.
they don't let any of us drive.
No, I don't think that'll happen. But what if? Then you would do it, right? To go get your porridge or whatever you're looking for that morning.
Listen, kid, I'm out there busting my buns every night.
You would do
I think I would have the robots deliver the porridge.
You wouldn't get out to go
from a
in
drone.
that mess to go get it yourself. In 1953, Hugh Hefner publishes the first edition of Playboy magazine featuring Marilyn Monroe as the magazine's first centerfold.
Hubba hubba.
In 1955, Rosa Parks arrested for refusing to move to the back of a bus and give her a seat to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama. And that ended racism.
Yeah. Everything was fine.
Cleaned right up.
They let everybody right in the schools.
The end.
Yeah. Way to go, Rosa. In 1967, Seattle awarded one of the 2 American League expansion franchise teams, or was awarded. They were the Pilots.
The Brewers.
The Pirates?
And the Brewers. In 19...
No, they were the Brewers.
The Seattle Brewers?
No, the Seattle Pilots played in Seattle
went to Milwaukee
for one season.
And that became the Milwaukee Brewers?
Became Milwaukee. I've never heard of an expansion team lasting 1 year before moving.
That's pretty weak.
That's what an incredible failure it must have been.
So who's on that wall now of no World Series? The Brewers and who else?
The Mariners.
Seattle. The Mariners, the Padres,
Rockies.
the Brewers, the Rockies, and the Rays, right?
Well, Rally House is telling me that the Rangers are off that list.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Corby, did you know that Jackson Smith and Jigba's brother is a pirate?
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't really
like a real-life pirate.
I don't really understand it at all, but
like he's sailing the 7 seas right now, looking for treasure.
His brother's a pirate too.
I be me name. In 1971, John Lennon and Yoko Ono released Happy Christmas. War is over in the United States, and that was the last war we ever had. They ended war.
It's a busy day cleaning up all these atrocities.
I would say that is a top 2 Christmas song of all time, maybe top 1.
The other one is certainly dum dum dum
dum dum dum dum dum dum dum. In 1991, Miami quarterback Dan Marino set an NFL record when he reached 3,000 passing yards for the 8th time in his career during a 33-14 win over Tampa Bay. Yes, finally, the drop pays dividends.
Just imagine if he was in a sling it around offense.
Oh my gosh!
And he had Ricky Waters on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if he didn't have like all white receivers. In 2020, actor Elliot Page, formerly known as Ellen Page, reveals that he is transgender.
I'm a girl. I'm a guy. I'm a girl. I'm a cat.
Damn, Marino.
Certainly making the plans for Juno 2 a little bit odd.
Very difficult. And Succession 2.
Juno 2 Furioso.
Inception 2, I bet you're thinking.
Yeah. What did I say?
Succession 2.
Yeah, I was close. You knew what I was saying.
Just going to let him cook.
Cumulus birthdays. Cumulus birthdays today.
You haven't, Mino?
Succession?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Dude, what a treat. You could start tonight.
Well, I've got to watch Sopranos and The Bear and all these other shows,
Mavs.
too. And Mavericks tonight.
You never started The Sopranos?
I've started it, and I've watched the last episode. It's just all those episodes in between.
The last episode?
I saw it live.
So disappointing.
Boffo, 2 thumbs up.
And you haven't started BJ and the Bear yet?
No.
Well, you definitely
The
should.
Sandwich Show. I haven't watched that yet.
You'll love that Bear.
He started the porn version.
I can't wait till you find out that the bear is actually a monkey.
I know. What? No.
It's called BJ
Cumulus
and the
birthdays today. Our leader, Alan Fall.
Good dude.
Oh,
nice.
Alan.
Y'all fall.
You know, we overuse the term good dude, but not with him.
Bear means something different.
He's an actual good dude.
Also, Cumulus birthday.
Oh, male.
Jay King.
Jay King for a day.
Wow.
Not Adrian Belfour.
Jay, how old are we?
28.
28 with a full mustache.
Way to be Jay King for a day.
Jay,
28 and holding.
Are you a blue text or a green text guy?
Blue.
Okay, good. You can be in our group
Yeah.
message for White Elephant.
Yeah, you didn't add him initially.
We had to kick Craig Miller out.
Craig and
Baldy.
Orlando.
This is Lando, but hi.
Cannot be in the game.
I'm new here. I'm sorry.
They have to sit outside till they get a phone that is compliant with the rest of us.
Also, Cumulus birthday. Happy 84th birthday. From the Cumulus family to the great Lee Trevino.
Ah, my buddy.
Oh,
let's go back.
I'll tell you what. He's still awesome.
I know. He's incredible.
Yeah. Oh,
He is
yes. He's an awesome man.
Incredible. Let's go back about 13 years as we're going to break. We have the great Lee Trevino on. David Mino is on his first day running the board, his first day of real work
Close to
in
it,
his whole
yeah.
life.
Still wet behind the ears.
He's like 23 years old.
Whoa.
And
now, the
here-
British Open starts tomorrow.
Oh,
We
yeah.
would love
Great.
to get your thoughts about that. Can you hang through this break and do a little bit more with us here?
Yeah, you got it, my man.
All right, very good. More with Lee
This
coming
hard.
up here on the ticket.
Tomorrow on the Morning Musers, we continue our salute to the Metroplex.
The
and
hell?
we'll be coming to you live from
Unbelievable.
I could tell you everything about that day after that moment.
What year do
it
you
was,
think?
It was February or March of 2014. It was a Wednesday.
No, it wasn't February or March. It
July.
was because the British Open. Yeah, it was July.
Okay, so I was in for a few months at that point.
Sounds like you don't know anything about this.
But I do remember we had ticket basketball that night.
Yeah.
And I remember
Oh, yeah.
showing up to the court and everybody just kind of shaking their head like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
You didn't even
what
wear
did you
shoes.
do? No. And then I get home at 9 or 10 and my dad is just the look of disappointment.
You wronged
I upset the
major.
captain.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
What did you do? I don't
It's
know.
okay.
I don't know what happened.
So he just did a visit with No Laying Up, and I'm telling you, he sounds like he's 65 still.
Oh, I know.
And
Oh, yeah. He sounds
and gorgeous.
probably on the
Unbelievable.
Normathon.
Yeah, no doubt.
Gorgeous.
Like, he is ageless.
Yeah, he's
Lee
wonderful.
Trevino.
And
You know his old joke about what to do when you are caught on the golf course in a lightning storm.
it used to be hold up the 1 iron, but now it's hold up the
Yeah.
2 iron.
Is that
Because
right?
Even God
Go
can't
ahead.
hit a 2 iron.
We're giving him that one. Is that his original?
Well, he got struck by lightning, so we give that to him.
It took Doyle a second,
It
but
has 1 iron. I always heard it has 1 iron.
he really enjoys that.
But you can't hit either,
Shows
so
you
what's the
how far
difference?
it goes back.
It's a slow burn.
The guitarist and singer of Blue Oyster Cult, Eric Bloom, is 79.
Don't fear the Reaper.
Don't fear the Reaper,
More
man.
cowbell.
The drummer of The Doors, John Densmore, is 79.
Ham birthday?
I mean, he's the drummer of The Doors.
Yeah.
That is a very high-level rock band. We can't give that to Ham.
Not
Got to be
Ham.
more low-level than that.
That's on the Venn diagram.
You can't win that position in a contest. In a drawing.
now we will start. Let's guess the ham birthday of the day.
Yes.
Sarah Silverman, 53.
Gorgeous.
Says here one
Yeah.
of Corby's hall passes, and yes, she definitely is.
Her joke about
David Hornsby.
Her joke about. Oh, go ahead, no. I was gonna only have something for the group, but go ahead, man.
Well, I'm just trying to do my job here. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, so am I, man. You
got this. David Hornsby, Rickety Cricket from It's Always Sunny, is 48.
Genius.
Number one. Just the way it is.
Greg Upchurch, the drummer of Three Doors Down, is 52.
Tyler.
That's a ham birthday.
That's a ham birthday. Nestor Carbonell, 56. He's the mayor in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises.
I wonder.
Well, there's another one.
56 and gorgeous.
Let's see. Akiva Schaffer is a member of The Lonely Island, the comedy troupe. Brilliant, 46. Riz Ahmed is 41, he of The Night Of.
Riz.
And Star Wars. What Star Wars franchise did we find him in?
Rogue One.
That's right. That's right. Janelle Monáe,
Oh, perfect.
who I love, but unfortunately
Doesn't matter.
she doesn't love me.
She'll
She's
never
38
love you.
today.
And gorgeous.
Also someone that I love that doesn't love me, Zoe Kravitz is 35. Catwoman, Bob.
The great Zoe Kravitz, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah. Who is she engaged to now?
Channing Tatum.
Bob.
Yeah, that's
Definitely
it.
not Bob.
What a hot couple that is. Channing Tatum and Zoe Kravitz.
Okay, I'm sure somewhere in society a Bob and a Zoe have been engaged, but
But
I want to see Bob
in
on the
this
red carpet on E being interviewed.
All right, this guy is one of one. Robert Irwin. He is 20. Does that name ring a bell?
The son of Crocodile Hunter.
Yeah, Bendy's brother. Yeah.
His father was murdered by a stingray.
Oh, Bendy.
an illegal stingray.
Well, Steve was trying to buy acid from him, and things went kind of a little haywire.
A stingray who is transporting fentanyl.
Right.
Part of MS-13.
Cartel stingray.
And girl dad, Luka Doncic's daughter. Her birthday is today.
Who EA has approved as adorable.
Yes, he has.
I love that as a side gig. Is that everybody brings their newborns to EA and he
Going to Corgi,
pronounces adorable or not
It just
adorable.
has thumbs up or thumbs down.
Bark.
I want to buy the daughter's
like Caesar.
Buy the
He's
daughter
like-
a pickle
he's
on
like
EA for
Caesar.
Christmas.
Caesar of baby
And his-
judging.
And his toga and then his crown of branches or whatever they wear.
Eating massive amounts of food, like just gorging himself. No.
Bring me your newborn.
Of course.
Mr. Doncic, I will see your newborn now.
Thank you so much,
Hedonism EA.
Adorable. I declare adorable.
The whole country.
The festival begins.
P1 birthdays.
The Ewoks start dancing.
We're already done. Today is the 50th birthday of my best buddy and good friend, P1 Matt McGarity. Some say he is the Cecil Espy of Collin County, which is a good bit.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me.
Oh, no.
Bless you.
And, let's see. Happy birthday to my wife and P1V1 Samantha. I did not wake her up in that special way. The baby crying in the monitor made it awkward. Her heroes are Miney and Monto and Ham. Donovan's on her list.
Rough.
And
I don't even know
let's
it's
see.
Samantha.
Let's plow through some
I feel
others.
like I need to plow through
Deshaun
that.
Jackson, Javi Baez. Oh, Javi!
Oh,
Got
Corby.
struck out by a nun.
Sister Jean.
Gary Payton.
Bringing the gas.
The second, Darius Jackson, Deion Sanders Jr. Born on this day now dead, Richard Pryor. Pablo Escobar. Dead on this day, still dead.
What you
Gaylord
gonna do when she
Perry.
says goodbye?
who will visit that
when she is
in the open.
3, 2, and you're done.
Shut it down! Let's go!
Bye, Emperor EA.
Of course.
Happy birthday, Jay.
And ladies and gentlemen, in for Dave, who is in for Corby, is Corby.
Here he is, the Cobra. Here's Cobra.
What sort of snake do we have on the run sheet?
Weird. It's weird snake, and then it looks like there's a weird Charles Manson doppelganger of me as well.
But it wasn't a.
I didn't have boobs.
It wasn't a snake with boobs this time.
I don't think.
Not today.
Okay, DJ.
It's all right.
Thank you. So this is a boy snake.
It is. So yesterday afternoon, and Ham, I don't know how into this you are. I was not really that familiar with it until the genius of this film, until I sat down and saw it with my young son. And I got up and saluted my television after I saw it. First off, I'm speaking of Fury Road, the George Miller Mad Max movie that came out a handful of years ago. And I walked out of there saying that, and I read very little about it, and I got up and said, that may be the best action movie I've ever seen. And then I'm on the internet just all over it, and every critic kind of said the same thing. Like, this is a masterpiece. This is a work of art.
It's a top 5 Ham movie.
Is it? Okay. I'm glad to hear
along
that.
with like every other Batman movie.
I actually went with Grego, and we both looked at each other and said, I guess I just don't get it.
I loved it. And maybe, I don't know why, it just resonated with me. I thought it was over the top, brilliant. Charlize Theron was the star. Well, now here is the sequel or prequel called Furiosa about Charlize Theron's character when she was growing up and she snatched from her home, and it's her trying to get back home.
Snatch?
It's not Snatch. Chris Hemsworth, he of Thor fame, is the co-star of this, and the trailer looks incredible. Anya Taylor-Joy plays the female heroine in the movie. I cannot tell you how excited I was to see this. And the thing is about the effects, because it's an action movie. There's no two ways about it. Full-on crazy action. But they used as little CGI as possible, right, Ham?
Yeah, just like Fury Road. They try to do all practical effects with it.
Right, which makes it, I don't know why, because special effects are kick-ass, and sometimes you can't even tell the difference. But for whatever reason, and even when I was watching it in real time and not really knowing anything about the effects, I'm like, how did they do that? How did they do that? Even if it was full CGI, how did they do that? And man, it rocked my world, so I cannot wait for this.
Are they bringing back sports guitar?
The flaming guitar? I'm not sure.
Wasn't a fan of that either.
Dude, that was awesome.
Can we at least admit that was a bad bit, Ham?
No, it was a great bit. He had an 18-wheeler with amps on it and a guitar that shot flames.
But why?
What's not to love? Why not?
What's kind of cool?
Well, he should be driving. That's worse than looking at your phone, is playing a guitar from the front of your truck.
You know what's weird is I don't really like any car-based movie outside of Smokey and the Bandit. But this is what this is. It's not really car. It's just vehicles, I guess you would call them. But that's what Mad Max, I don't know if you saw the original one, but I mean, ever since that came out, and then, Thunderdome kind of, Tina Turner threw me for a loop a little bit, I'm not going to lie, kind of a snoozer. But the concept of Mad Max is great. That you're in this post-apocalyptic world, and everybody's chasing gasoline or water, and that's it. Every day it's a quest to find that, and you've got these traveling bands of different factions warring against each other.
Ne'er-do-wells.
Ne'er-do-wells, indeed. It's kind of awesome. So, yeah, the trailer for Furiosa came out yesterday, and it looks bad ace. So, here's another thing that I'm really confused about. So, I remember taking both my kids it was one of those weird, like probably spring Saturday or Sundays, when it's like, what do y'all want to do? Do you want to go see a movie? What's out? Not much is out. hey, Dad, Godzilla's out. And it's like, oh, God, okay, oh, no. And you just chalk one up as being a dad and killing a couple hours with the boys. And even my kids at the time who were like 10 and 7 walked out of whatever the most recent Godzilla was going, I don't think so.
Wow.
No bueno whatsoever.
If you lose that audience, what do you have left?
Yeah, it was panned as being one of the worst Godzilla movies ever. Okay. So, Ham, I don't know if you're familiar with the new Godzilla movie.
Godzilla -1?
Yes.
The Toho Godzilla?
37th Godzilla movie in Japan's long-running giant monster movie franchise.
Serious?
Yeah, 37.
Oh, my gosh. Think we can squeeze any more juice out of that orange?
I know. And Godzilla -1
okay, all right,
is a period film that takes place right after World War II as Japan is trying to climb out of nuclear bombs. And again, I don't really know the full plot of it, but he's introduced as being brand new. And this was a really low-budget movie. And on Rotten Tomatoes, 48 reviews, 98%. That is combined. These are critical critical reviews. 98%. And again, I don't know, Ham, if you've read much about it, but people are like, you're going to freak out. And it was made for nothing, $15 to $20 million.
They also went the practical effects route, well, as much as you could with a Godzilla movie.
I wonder how much that is going to play into the future of film, that these are the things that people are into. Not that you're going to go back to like stop motion Star Wars type stuff, but you're going to do things on the cheap but make them as studio elegant as possible. I don't know. But if Godzilla's getting good reviews, it came out today, I'm kind of interested how you can do that.
Are there battleships?
Gotta be, right?
Big fan of Godzilla versus battleships. I don't know why. There's still a little boy in me somewhere.
Was the first Godzilla that you saw as a kid some form of Japanese thing that ran on channel 27 or 33 or something like that? I think me too.
Yeah.
And you just kind of sat there and you slugged through the whole thing. And
wasn't a slug.
Yeah.
I think, like every little boy, I think my first mixing with Godzilla was very, very mind-bending. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know the world had that to offer.
No.
Here I have just blocks and jacks and balls and whatever, just not really much. And then, whoa, balls. That lives in the ocean?
Isn't it crazy?
That can walk through cities and just trash stuff?
Like what those movies will do to you as a little kid.
They're the best.
They really are. It's the magic of the movies. The first King Kong I saw.
Oh. And then they tried to combine King Kong and Godzilla.
I believe that's the one that I saw last. They fought.
It should have worked.
Yeah, it should have.
They should try again until they get it right.
I believe Ike told me when the movie was over, as he's kicking my leg, Dad, the movie's over. And I kind of come to like, what? Oh, yeah, okay, great.
It's a big time for Godzilla, too, because they also have an Apple TV show that's based off of Monarch, the people that are trying to keep these monsters at bay and study them.
That's right. Is it doing anything? Or I've read nothing about it other than I remember we talked about it on Enews one time.
I know it's out, and I think there's a new episode even out today, but I'm not sure how it's doing. And I know there's going to be another Godzilla King Kong movie, I think even next year.
I imagine Ham's house is like a comic book store.
I know.
But with chicken tenders.
I really need Ham to have a boy that he can expose all of this to, because I'm afraid if he has a daughter, she's going to be like, Dad, look.
Yeah.
I don't care at all.
Dad, look at me.
Here's the deal.
Stop.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any more of this.
No.
I'd watch a sitcom about your life, Ham.
No doubt. Living with
boring would that be?
Maybe not a sitcom. Maybe a full documentary. Let's just let's see if we can get that greenlit by like Netflix.
Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I swear, when we look back at the year 2023, we're going to look at it as it was Taylor Swift's year, but Beyonce was like everything Taylor did. Beyonce was right there either neck and neck with her or right behind her. Because the albums, the tours, now the movie, Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, fired up last night with $5 million in previews, which, by the way, Taylor's Eras Tour did $2.8 million, but Eras Tour also posted $93 million in its first weekend, and I do not believe that's going to happen for Beyonce. Going to make about $15 to $20 million. But do you think that they realize, do you think that they chase each other? Meaning,
yeah,
like the Beatles and the Stones used to?
Yeah, I mean, probably in terms of, a movie works, let's do that. Oh, this, you can use this as a venue, or you can stay here 6 nights. I don't know. Probably,
I mean,
right?
They are at the very top of the game in everything that they do. Matter of fact, maybe there's a BTS or something out there that's a comp, but they have to be the 2 most popular entertainers / singers that we have.
Which one would you go see if you had to?
Probably Beyonce. I think I know more of her stuff. I think I'd be more entertained by a Beyonce show. But I would go with Twiggy, Donovan's wife, because she's like way into it, and I would need someone there that's way. And I feel like too, it's a little bit older crowd
than Taylor Swift. Yeah,
yeah, right.
Sure. Like probably.
Are there a lot of teenagers at Beyonce shows? There's got to be.
Well, you're asking the right guy.
Okay.
Much like the cost of steer, let me now give you some insight on the Beyonce crowds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say yes, there's probably some teenagers, but probably not as many as Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let's run on the punt team.
Yeah, I really doubt that Twiggy'd want to go to the game with me too, so I'm probably not going to do it. When we talk about, the Simpsons and the NFL kind of built Fox.
Yes. And Tracy Ullman.
Paramount, we're going to look back at this in a couple of decades and say, and you know what, maybe, what was Breaking Bad on?
AMC.
They kind of built AMC, for sure. I think Taylor Sheridan is going to get credit for literally creating a network in Paramount Plus. Because Yellowstone, he created Yellowstone, of course, and all the spinoffs are his baby, which are all going to be on Paramount Plus.
Is that dominant on CBS, by the way?
Yeah, it's doing great. Just sticking reruns of a show that started 7 or 8 years ago, just putting it out there like it's brand new, and people consume it like that because they don't have Paramount Plus. Well, now, their new show, or his new show, Lawman Bass Reeves, is the most watched series premiere this year. Are you familiar with this at all?
No.
Okay, it looks like it's set in, what does that look like, Civil War-ish times?
It does, yeah.
And it's about an African-American lawman back in the day, which, much like Django, probably turned a lot of heads back then. But it's doing really, really, really well for Paramount Plus. And it seems like that he's that guy now that anything that he produces or puts out, the people that watch Yellowstone are instantly in on. And this is the latest one.
He's got that name.
Yeah, he does.
That makes people respond.
Yeah. All right. There's your E-News.
Thank you, Corby, and thank you, Ham. Let's get things going tonight at WinStar World Casino north of the Red. Travis Tritt and the great Pat Green.
Oh. I wonder if this is a good gig for our buddy Pat, opening up for Travis Tritt.
The great Pat.
Pat's so awesome.
He really is. So.
Was that part of the song?
No, that's Ham ruining it like he ruins everything.
I was like, that sounded weird, but kind of real. Kind of real.
Might have got the first cut. All right, Let's move on to also tonight at the CBD Kratom Backyard at Texas Live in Arlington, Wade Bowen.
Oh, Giorgio.
Very country music heavy concert calendar tonight, because also this evening at sundown at the Granada, Jonathan Tyler and the Northern Lights.
Ooh. Headline to Jub Jam. Jonathan's such a great guy. No, it's not Thunder. Sundown, not the Granada. This is next door at Sundown?
Yes, Sundown at Granada.
That's the little place.
It's intimate.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's one you want to go to. All right. Saturday at Lava Cantina in the Colony, Ham. 3 Doors Down, Candlebox, and Shinedown.
Kevin.
Dude.
I don't care about any of those bands.
I don't either.
What a bunch of early 2000s, bunch of butt rock that is.
Also Saturday at the Kessler, the great Jack Ingram.
Jack. I seen him at the Kessler one time.
Jack this guy.
It's kind of the perfect venue. That and the
Jack
Granada.
this guy.
I know. Well, if you haven't seen Jack before, go see him. He's freaking awesome. That's tonight?
That is tomorrow night at the Kessler.
Okay.
Also tomorrow night at Arlington Music Hall, Asleep at the Wheel.
Ty.
At Dickies Arena, John Pardy, P-A-R-D-I.
Country.
And at the AT&T Performing Arts Center in Dallas tomorrow night, the Polyphonic Spree.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get busy with the spree. Is that outdoor? The Performing Arts?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they've got indoor and outdoor options.
Okay.
Don't look at me.
I think I'm going to catch them in 2 weeks.
Are you going to the Christmas show?
Yeah.
So fun.
I think so.
So fun.
So Polyphonic Spree tomorrow. Also tomorrow at the Granada Theater, Moon Taxi with the Stews. Coming up on Tuesday, December 5th, also at the Granada, Silverstein, Avoid, and a ham band, Stray from the Path.
Going.
Are you?
Yes.
Whoa. So mean.
This is the only clean song they have that I could play.
This sounds like me and Ham's childhood right here. A lot of angst.
Boy, such aggression. Okay, who does that sound like to you?
Rage.
Yes, it sounds just like Rage.
Yeah, they're like angrier Rage.
Angrier than Rage?
Ragier.
Rager against the Machiner.
Yeah, Ragier.
Yeah, Rager against the Machine. All right, let's move on to Wednesday, December 6th at Sundown at Granada, Buffalo Nichols, and on Wednesday night at Trees, Scene Queen.
Hi, Cody. I mean, Ken. Are you free right now? I have a song that I need you on. Like now? Let's party!
We were a little thin this week, so we started sampling some groups we didn't really know, and we thought this one was funny.
Barbie's been a princess way too long.
Barbie's got a gun with no safety on.
God, how crazy!
This is at Trees, so there's not going to be a ton of people there. This could actually be kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Also next Thursday at the Arlington Music Hall, Marie Osmond.
Oh my God, she sang the national anthem at the OU BYU game.
Barbie and Ken in a pink dream house. Two go
Not that.
and only one comes out.
Oh God, I could not believe. Okay, quit playing it. I could not believe.
Played more.
Marie Osmond looked. There's a lot of dolly work going on here. I get it. She looked amazing. She's got to be 75 years old or something.
Well, did they put her in a Cowboys cheerleader's uniform?
They did not. They dressed her appropriately.
I thought that's what you have to do with older ladies.
Marie Osmond is 64.
Oh, okay. I was just a little. Sorry, Marie.
Now, is she a little bit country, or is she more a little bit rock and roll?
Yeah, a little bit both. Look at that. That's 63, 64.
She looks like
Not bad.
Valerie Bertinelli.
no. Who's our girl vampire?
Nadja?
Yeah, she looks a little like Nadja right there. Tell me that's not Nadja.
Yeah.
Also on Thursday of next
How about
week,
Nadja Dow?
at the Majestic Theater, Staying Alive One Night with the Bee Gees.
Oh, wow. But it's not the Bee Gees. It's just One Night with the Bee Gees.
Yes.
That's ABBA.
Why does Ham have to ruin everything?
And that's what he does.
And at the Reconsider Lounge. Oh, we got one more, sorry. At Trees on Thursday.
One more.
Possessed.
Crank it.
You mean to tell me that we have gone 50 years without there being a band named Possessed? Doesn't that sound like a band that would have come out in 1978?
Well, they came out in the 80s, but then they took like 3 decades off.
They don't sound happy either.
No. Don't sound like they want to spread positivity around.
No. Jason Kidd wouldn't like them.
Probably not. And at the Reconsider Lounge.
And the rebounding is much better.
An old 97's cover band fronted by Japanese Monsters, Good with Godzilla.
Okay,
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And a Whitney Houston cover band comprised of University of Iowa football players, Saving All My Punts for You.
Yeah!
It's so topical. So good. All right, DJ, thank you very much. It's $6.50 on the ticket.
Let's go Iowa plus 22.5.
Get the Stake podcast at patreon.com/sportsgreek.